Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode 84 of the Drew Pavlu Show. Episode 84 of the Drew Pavlu Show. Now, give me a little bit of time to boost the stream, send the stream around, send the link out a bit. We're going to be discussing the August 31 rally, and it'll be interesting. We'll discuss it on the stream. I've got the Instagram live as well. I'm going live on Instagram. Now, I'm just going to send the link around 1 second. Hello, everyone joining on Instagram. Thanks for joining. We're going to be discussing the August 31 rally. I'm going to have Adelaide set on the show. We're going to discuss. Give me a second. I'm going to put it on my Discord. Send him the link as well. All right. Glibling, thank you for joining. If you're on YouTube, leave a like, guys. You have to leave a like. Leave a like, please, on YouTube. Very important. Leave a like on YouTube. Hang on. I'm just going to send the link to Adelaide set. Ozpil Grand Ski reading group. Well said. Well said. Oh, fucking hell. My computer's freezing. Meatstone says, thank you for supporting Tibet. No, thank you. I love Tibet. Drew, you've had far too much screen time this week. No, not enough. It never ends. Never ends. What's happening on August 31? There's going to be potentially a very big rally for Australian patriots. However, I don't want the rally to be destroyed by the neo-Nazis. So we're going to be discussing that. I'm just going to send the link to... John McGowan says, I'm just here to sell Drew a gun. Thank you, John. Thank you. I'm not interested in... We're not interested in any guns, but thank you, John. I appreciate it. Got to send... You know what, John? Do you want to join the link? If I send you a link, John, do you want to jump in? Snazzy Saucepan says, "Are you pumping iron?" Thanks, mate. No, I'm not pumping iron at the moment, but I should be. Thank you, though. But we're going to discuss. John, do you want to join the stream? I'm going to send John the stream as well. We'll have an interesting discussion if John's around. Got 20 people now on the YouTube. Thank you, guys. Leave a like. If you're on the YouTube, leave a like. We're going to have an interesting discussion. I've sent the link to John McGowan and also Adelaide set, and we'll have an interesting discussion. I think it's important. Essentially, I think it could be a great day for Australian patriotism. But if the schizos take control of the rally, they will set the cause of patriotism in Australia back 20, 30 years. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I don't want to see. So that's what I'm warning against. Snazzy Saucepan says they will set. I see Will Hazel and Will Bennett as well is joining. They're in the Instagram. Thank you for watching us. Adelaide said, George, how you going? Hang on. Let me see if the audio is working. You there, man?
Can you hear me, Drew? How's it going?
Yeah. No, thank you, man. Thanks for joining. Yeah, mate. Good to finally be on a live stream together. Yeah, I can hear you. It's good audio. Everything all good on my end too? I think it's frozen a bit. Is George there? I think it may have frozen, unfortunately. Is George there? I think George should maybe join again. There was some kind of trouble on my end, I think. Snazzy Scotsman, how are you going? Hang on. Yeah, Adelaide said, can you rejoin? Hang on, I'll send him a message. Steve, hey mate, how you going? Good to see you, Steve. One people, one March, one Drew. So true. Been a while, Drew, from me. Yeah, no, mate. It's my fault. I haven't been streaming as much lately, but I'm trying to get back onto the wagon. We're on 84 streams. I think we've got 21 people watching live on YouTube right now. 21. Guys, if you're watching on the Twitter, go to my YouTube. It's so much better. So much better on the YouTube. If you're on Instagram, go to the YouTube. It's a lot better on the YouTube. And leave a like on the YouTube. Subscribe as well. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. It's slowly building up. Very important. Very important that you help out. Full Circle History says, this rally is going to sabotage my plan to move to Australia. We're not against all immigrants. Of course not. Some immigrants are great. I think George is going to rejoin. Swindon says, even if I go to YouTube, you're still not going to read my comments. I'm reading the comment. What are your thoughts on Iran and Pahlavi? I'm against the Iranian regime. I don't know if Pahlavi is the right response though. Drew, I am gooning right now. Do you think this could be a foreign interference campaign to cause division? I don't know, mate. Like the Nazis are just stupid themselves. I'm not sure if it's foreign interference. They're just idiots. Drew, any advice on how to ask John McGowan out on a date? I don't know if John's interested in blokes, but just have confidence. Just be yourself. That's the most important thing, I think. Do you support a polar bar swap between Israel and Palestine? I don't know what that question means. Fan from Adelaide said, respectfully, who are you? Listen, I've got a long history. I was the bloke who made a stand at the University of Queensland in Brisbane against the Chinese government a couple of years ago. Almost got thrown out of the university. They tried to expel me. Chinese government has gone after me for a couple of years. I'm a supporter of classic Western freedoms, supporter of democracy. That's what I believe in. Steve says, I'm so out of touch with Australia right now. What was with the Nazis for real? So essentially what happened is there was an attempt to build up a kind of patriot rally in response to the Islamic extremists that went out on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So August 9, all these Islamic extremists went out on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. What was it? August 7. It was last week. All these Islamic extremists went out on the Sydney Harbour Bridge and they waved Al-Qaeda flags and Taliban flags. And we want to have a patriot rally in response to that. People can wave the Australian flag and be proud of their country. The problem is that the neo-Nazis are already trying to take over the rally. They're already trying to sabotage everything. And the reality is if they take over the rally, then it's just going to destroy it. It'll just be completely destroyed. Everyone will smear just your ordinary, even the ordinary patriots that go will be smeared and tarred with the same brush as the Nazis. And so that's the thing. You can't let the Nazis take over the rally. Joel Davis is telling everybody it's actually his rally. And I think he's lying. I think he's trying to just get attention for himself. That said, if they actually are trying to take over this rally, I think that's just a disaster for the Australian patriot movement. It will set everything back. It will literally set everything back 30 years because, well, that's the thing, Steve. If they try to Cronulla 2.0, it will literally destroy nationalism in Australia. It'll destroy patriotism in Australia for like 20, 30 years. Well, that's the thing, Malachi. Like, remember what happened to Moira Deeming. So there were a couple ordinary conservatives who went out to a rally supporting women's rights, questioning radical extremist transgender leftism. And the Nazis went to that rally. And because of that, Moira Deeming almost had her career destroyed because the Nazis went to the rally and tried to take over it. What really is Australian nationalism? I think Australian nationalism is, being proud of your country, believing in Australia's sort of British heritage, Australia's Western heritage. I don't think that it should be race exclusionary. I think that migrants from different races can assimilate to the country, of course. Yeah. But unfortunately, the Nazis are trying to make it a race exclusionary thing. And that just poisons the well for the vast majority of people. That poisons the well for the vast majority of people. Because the reality is 90% of, even if you were just polling white Australians, 90% of them do not believe in race supremacism. So it just poisons the entire world. George, you're back.
Thank you. I had no idea what happened as soon as I.
That's okay.
It's like I think it was just or something.
No, I think it was just internet stuff. I think it's okay. It's okay. It's good. It's good to have you on, man. We've been wanting to do a stream for a while.
Yeah, How is the stream going, by the way? Are you enjoying this whole process? You loving it?
I am. I like it. It's just look. It's a difficult one, right? So right now, I think I've got how many people are watching right? I think it's like 35 people watching live on YouTube, and another 30, 40 people watching live on Twitter. So it's a slow grind, My long-term goal is to try build it up, and it just sucks, right? Because if you look at like people like Abby Chappell, they have literally 1 million people watching their stuff. And I just think like if they are the ones that are dominating the online conversation, that's horrible for the country. So I really, really want to try and push back against that, I'm interested. How long have you been doing streaming for?
Look, I've been streaming on and off since 2020, but the only reason I stopped was because I started working in state parliament and federal parliament. So I had to kind of stop. No one told me to stop, but it just kind of was the elephant in the room. It's like, hey, George, you working for a senator now. You can't be online just saying a bunch of stuff. So
I get you. What senator did you work for out of interest?
Okay, so I'll tell you my whole background. So 2019, I worked for a minister. So I worked in the minister's office. I was the communications officer for David Spears at the time, who was the environment minister. He eventually became the opposition leader of South Australia. Then after that, I had an interesting journey. I got out of politics, but then I got dragged back in with state parliament. I actually got to work with someone called Sarah Game, who was South Australia's first ever One Nation seat. So she was like,
Oh,
basically,
she's the one who just formed her own party literally today, right?
yeah. So she essentially, like, she never really kind of had the same values as One Nation. She was a bit of like, she was very left considering One Nation. So she always had a bit of
Really?
internal clash. So eventually it just ended
In
up
what
with
way?
her
I'm
leaving.
interested. In what way was that the case?
She just not so staunch on, One Nation's pretty staunch on like the immigration stuff, like the vaccine stuff. She wasn't as staunch on that stuff as, I guess she was expected to be. And she was a lot more liberal minded in terms of she was a lefty inside One Nation, basically. That's what it felt like working with her.
Really?
Yeah, as lefty as it gets for One Nation. Look, she's pretty right wing when it comes to like abortion and stuff like that. She's very anti-abortion, but generally speaking, she's very left on social issues and stuff like that. So that was a very unique opportunity. And then basically after the working with her for a bit, I got the call up to federal parliament and I worked for Senator Alex Antic and helped him establish his social media. So he's a Liberal member and he was notorious for his stances in the pandemic.
No, I remember Antich. I remember the Antich. I remember, look, he backed me when the University of Queensland was trying to expel me back in the day. So I always appreciate that. I have to say, I do disagree with his stuff on Ukraine and everything, but I always appreciate that he stood up for me when I was getting expelled from the University of Queensland with Chinese government and stuff.
Yeah, I think you two get along. On his desk in his office, there's a framed certificate of the Chinese government saying you are banned from entering China, essentially, and basically blacklisting him.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's epic.
He's very proud of it. He holds it in his office. It's pretty funny.
Well, that's probably something I would do if I was. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But listen, let's discuss August 31. So obviously, there's a lot of talk about it, right? It's unclear who's actually running things. I think Ozpil was one of the hosts online, but then nobody knows the actual.
Do you want me to go to?
Go into detail.
The full story. Do you actually want to know what's actually happened?
Yeah, say the full story.
Okay, so this is essentially what's happened because I've talked to literally everyone involved and I've kind of been keeping my mouth shut, but I think now it's time to actually speak about it because it's getting to the day. And essentially what happened was obviously we had the Palestine protest and like any protest, there's always bad actors at it. And you had people there flying terrorist flags. You had people there burning the Australian flag. And that caused a lot of grief for a lot of Australians. Seeing that type of imagery was appalling. Absolutely. And I'm not necessarily here to condemn the Palestinian protests. I actually think, that's kind of cool, whatever. But the bad actors there, not cool, right? So that's the major crux of the issue. So what essentially happened was there was this young guy, 18 years old, from South Australia, where I'm from. He saw this, got inspired one night, created a TikTok video that was all about, it wasn't even about immigration. It was all about like just Australia as it was back in the 70s and 80s, kind of like the essence of what made Australia, like its culture, essentially. It wasn't even about mass immigration.
I like that. Australia under Hawke, it was much more appreciably sort of in touch with its British heritage. People weren't whipping themselves every day. People weren't taught that they were evil for being born, a colonizer, etc. They literally celebrated like the centenary and everything. So I think Australia under the Hawke era is basically a pretty moderate and reasonable thing for us to all go back to. I mean, and it was still multiracial. There were still people from different, it wasn't white Australia policy, but
no,
it wasn't.
My policy was the 60s, so it was.
Yeah,
we've
got John McGowan. Hang on, do you know John McGowan? John,
no, I don't. What's up, brother?
Are you there, John?
I can't hear him. He's speaking.
Oh, hang on. He's muted. He's muted.
Am I muted now?
You know what's actually funny? I just realized this, John. All three of us are Greek.
Yeah, Greek? I'm
Wait, you're Greek, right, George?
Yeah, I'm full Greek. Well, I'm like first, immigration.
Mainland Greek?
So. My father is from Thessaloniki and my mother is from like Kalamata area.
Oh, okay. And then John
that's serious Greek, yeah.
John's half Greek, so I just realized it's three Greeks discussing Australian nationalism. Very powerful.
Well, that's the history of Australian nationalism, right? It's just like Eastern European fascists who come out here and try and fix our country for us. I missed. I'm sorry, I was fucking around and I missed everything. So, where did you get up to on August 31? Are you August 31 pilled? Are you not?
Well,
August
no, we
31
just
pilled?
started discussing it. We just started discussing it. So,
Yeah.
George was saying that there was some 18-year-old kid who just got inspired to make a TikTok video, and it went really viral. And that's how people first started talking about it.
Yeah,
And
so
like,
essentially what
and
happened-
I understand that because, dude, when I saw like the Al Qaeda flags on the bridge, I got so doom-pilled. That was a big wake-up moment for me when you literally had these crazy guys just screaming like, "Pack your bags, leave our lands," and they're literally like Taliban guys on the bridge. That was so doom-pilling for me. So I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I saw that guy, the original guy. He was on Instagram, and I don't think he's posted since, but he's
Yes. Okay. So essentially, I'll finish. Do you want me to finish the whole story, and then we can kind of go into
Yeah.
it as well?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, what happened after this guy made this TikTok, he kind of he didn't expect this. Like this was he kind of just did it at a whim, and this thing became
Yeah.
a beast of its own. And what happened was two people reached out to him. I'll leave one unnamed because it's kind of irrelevant. But the other person was named Beck Friedman. Beck Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
she said, "Hey," like all innocently, "Hey, let me help you." And this kid, obviously, he's like, "Okay, sure." Innocent, doesn't know what he's talking. Doesn't know who Beck is, and he just wants help because he has no idea what he's created.
Because I remember there was a post by Beck the other day going like, "We will hunt Jews and we will kill people." Like that was fucking mental.
Yeah.
Like,
So wait, who is Beck? Because I saw her on Twitter the other day, and I thought I got them mixed up because there's so many AI generated right-wing women on Twitter now. Like when I saw her, I was like, "Wait, which one is this?" So she looks like Lauren Southern put through an anime filter, and I didn't know who she was. So I thought she was that one Loz or someone,
No, it's a new
one of
one.
those freedom guys who got really upset about vaccines. I thought it was her, but now I'm hearing
Yeah,
it's
she
a
was.
whole new entity that I
No,
hadn't
Beck.
heard of.
So Beck's father apparently died of myocarditis during the pandemic. So that's what started her villain arc in this whole journey. So she was actually part of the Freedom Rally kind of people, but she hates the Freedom Rally people, and she thinks they're failures, and they didn't go hard enough during that whole period in terms of.
She wanted them to go the full putsch, like she wanted
Yeah.
to, January 6th Parliament House or something. Right? Okay, cool.
Genius.
But so I'm hearing that she's a Nazi. That's what Joel Jamal is saying.
It
her,
looks like
her
a bit.
husband or boyfriend is one of the leaders of NSN.
Really?
And they're
Is
about
that
to have
actually?
a baby.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so they're about to have a baby together as well.
Nazi baby.
Wow. That's why this thing has blown up, because essentially she's hijacked this protest, which started off as grassroots, as this innocent spiritual kind of act of like, hey, let's celebrate Australia, let's be activated, let's try and fix this country. And then quickly, in the grasp of Beck's hand, she's taken this and going, hey, let's turn this into a neo-Nazi thing. And let's make this all about mass immigration. And it was very clear because in the rule, she said, no other flags but Australian flags. As soon as you start saying that, it kind of goes against the whole principles of freedom. In Australia, you should be able to fly any flag you want in principle, right? So if you want to bring a flag, you bring a flag. And they were enforcing rules that would incite violence. So if I rocked up with the Greek flag, what, is someone going to punch me in the head and knock me out?
I think in general it's a smart idea to have just Australian flags, because I can understand why at a Patriot rally having random flags would it will look too boomer pilled. If people just bring Israel flags to it, it's obviously too boomer pilled. And I say
that's what's going to happen. Like, I got this distinct impression.
I'm saying that as somebody who's very Mossad pilled. If people bring the Israel flags to the Patriot rally, that will look dumb. So I understand that. Fair enough. But like, I think Beck's pretty psycho. I remember I saw a Beck video where Beck was like literally saying like, we've got to be prepared to like hunt down Jews. I'm like, bruh, why the fuck would you write that on Twitter? Like, or she said it in a Twitter space or something.
She said it in a Twitter space, yeah. And this is the problem now.
Very
so there's
normal.
3 factions that have formed now. So this thing has 3
Oh
factions.
my
It has
God.
the Zionist community. You want to step in and take
I've
over
seen
the
them,
protest?
That's why I'm quoted in the news.com story, because I initially said that that's who it was. And I was wrong. Like, I'm willing to admit that I was wrong initially, that I thought it was like an Avi Yemeni scam and that it was all just going to be, an excuse to harass Palestinians or something. But anyway, I don't think that is the case.
I
now.
think they want to make it an anti-Palestine, like a protest
I don't
to
think
the Palestine one.
No, can I say this right? I actually don't think they want to
Okay.
make it anti-Palestine at all. I think from what I can see so far, it's pretty obvious that they don't want anything to do with any of the pro-Israel people or the Zionists. And And like, look, fair enough. Like, I think it should just be a straight Australian Patriot rally. And I'm literally somebody who's very Mossad-filled, and I'm saying don't bring the Israeli flag.
You're still a patriot, Drew. You're still a strongest soldier. We're gonna get you in the end, man.
Yeah. But I'm just saying though, like I've been looking, and like they were making such a big show on dance. Like Abi's banned, nobody can come if you're Jewish. I saw people saying you can't come if you're Jewish. Like it's getting pretty schizo. I don't know.
Yeah, and that was the issue. So that's why there's another group who are introducing an idea of doing another protest in mid-September. So these guys are like the people who organized it. That's like the Joel Jamal, the people who organized the Canberra protest, which had 250,000 people go to Canberra. I'm not sure if you remember that. And they want to say, hey, look, we want to do this properly. We want to have the speakers, because this is the problem. We don't know who the speakers are for this 31st August. It could just be Hitler reincarnated for all we know, who's coming to this protest.
You know. I don't think there are speakers. I mean, from what I've seen, I think their plan was just to have a march. Like, I don't think they're going to have. I don't think it's that organized. I don't think they were thinking there's going to be someone walking around with a megaphone. I don't.
Ozpil actually asked me to speak in Queensland, but the problem is like. Yeah. I don't want to speak if like Joel Davis is going to be like the next speaker, right? Like I don't want to do that because it just like poisons me forever, right? So,
but you debated Joel. Like, I mean,
I debated him. It's different though. Debate's a different thing. That's a different. Anyway, like I don't know. I wanted to bring on John because I saw John's take before where he was saying that. John, do you want to? So I know that George from Adelaide set here in the middle. He's friends with Joel Jamal. And listen, I'm friendly with Joel Jamal too. And John had a bit of a different take. And I think
I wasn't attacking Joel. Yeah. and Joel messaged me afterwards. Yeah. I just said, look, my point is, you know, there are two right-wing ecosystems in Australia right now. 3 if we include Drew. Who kind of sits apart in the center. But broadly speaking right now, there seem to be like two main ecosystems. And on one hand, you've got these guys who came out the back of the freedom movement post-COVID, Joel, Rukshan, Avi. They have online audiences. They're monetized. They do make a lot of money doing this stuff. And they seem to have one view on this. And then on the other side, you have, and I'm one of these guys like me, guys like Jordan Knight, guys like Ozpil, the guys who just do this, or Selena now, you know, who's getting a really big audience on TikTok and stuff. And, you know, you got guys who, we don't get paid. I mean, I have more money than God anyway, so I don't need it. But we don't do this for a living. We're just politically active people. And our view has been online since this got announced, like, just fuck it, try it. Like, what's the harm? Like, you show up to the protest, see what happens. I mean, if you see a flag you disagree with, or if you see someone with a pencil moustache and you think they might be a Nazi, you can just leave. But at least try it. Like, we've tried everything to fix the country at this point. Nothing works. We've gatekept from politics. We're gatekept from the media. Like, maybe going out in the street with a bunch of boomer cons and freak shows and guys like me and fucking YouTubers, like, maybe that's, I mean, it's a final frontier. No one's tried it. So, but it just seems like there is this, it's just been this concerted effort from a section of the ecosystem to say, oh no, look, wait till September the 13th, or wait until we can get the right protein powder sponsor for it or something like that. And so that was my criticism of Joel. Like, I like Joel's stuff and I agree with him on a lot of things, but it just like, and I watched the video that he links to in it, and he's literally just repeating the same, I mean, basically the same talking points that Abby Chatfield had. Like, he's essentially running he's running the same argument about Ozpil that Abby did. And I mean, I know that kid, he's a good kid, and like, you know,
Ozpil volunteered for the Drew Pavlou Democratic Alliance in 2022.
I'm sure he did, man. Like,
yeah. That's how I know him personally.
But every one of these guys, so Abby Chatfield, Purple Pingers, the whole like left-wing ecosystem are reading off the same set of talking points on Ozpil. I won't use his real name. Which is basically, his dad is rich, so he's not allowed to have anything to do with it.
I want to say that. That is really dumb. That is really dumb.
I actually think what our movement needs is more guys with rich dads, because when you have a rich dad, you don't need to do a YouTube channel where you're telling people to like and subscribe and sell them protein powder. You could just be about the politics. So, You know,
honestly,
and so that
honestly, I think that's, you know, it's so stupid, this purple pink and stuff. Like,
well,
they will be
Rakshan
like,
is now saying, Rakshan's in the chat saying he wants to give it a
Wow.
go. Good. You know, I don't know where
That's okay.
Rakshan is, but I'll go. I'll give him a high five. I don't really want to go. I'm in Tasmania, and I really don't want to go to it. But...
Can I give my little take on this? And it's a bit crazy, but I want to hear both of your opinions. So this is my issue with this whole thing. Like, to me, this seems like a genuine psyop to kind of accelerate us into UK style laws, and they really want to push digital ID through the system. They've already got this under 16 thing that we saw Dylan recently get striked of his own TikTok, where he essentially has to move out of his own country to do his job. Are you not worried that this is some sort of accelerator psyop?
I hope it is. I hope
you want that?
I want it. I'm strapped in. We got to run this train into the end of the station. Like, if it is a psyop, whoever's doing it is really smart, because there's no slowing the train down at this point. I've worked in the UK. I've worked in the US. I've seen this play out multiple times already. Like, if you think you're going to slow this thing down and our country's going to go back to 2014 and everything's going to be fine, and like, it's never going to happen. These guys are locked in, right? They can't stop it now. We're running at 0.03% GDP. They can't wiggle. They can't wiggle the numbers on immigration now. Why do you think they've just boosted international student numbers?
I think
right? They can't slow it down.
They can't stop. If they stop the mass immigration, the entire economy of Australia would collapse.
And that's why I posted that thing yesterday, and I said that what the right needs to understand is we're not at war with Anthony Albanese or the left or Abby Chatfield. We are at war with the entire Australian economy, right? Yeah. That is the force that is arrayed against us. We're at war with the system itself. And the only way through is what, you know, the right in the UK is doing, and saying, well, you just got to accelerate it to its logical conclusion and let them do this. Like,
you are an accelerator.
Oh, 100%. I'm an accelerationist. Okay. I have a Nick Land tattoo on my back. Like, you know.
It is actually. I genuinely think we're going down the UK route pretty fast now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's hurtling towards this logical conclusion. And that's why I'm interested to see what happens on the 31st. I mean, look, option one, no one shows up, in which case, fine. It's then mass protest isn't an option for the right. Option two, the Nazis all show up. There's whoever else shows up and causes a circus out of it. Like, there's obviously, whether it's state agitators or third-party agitators, like, the whole thing becomes a clown show. Who cares? I mean, there is, though, the third option that, you know, there's just a bunch of Kmart mums and, you know, like, instead of people like us, it's actually the people who watch us who show up and go, yeah, we're fucking sick of it. And we've been reading all your posts and we agree. And I'm going to stand here with my kid in a pram and an Australian flag and I want it to end. Like, that's the third and best option. Honestly, I think all of those options are fine. Like, they're all manageable. There's no downside. There's no way this can go badly.
When you say there's no way this can go badly, though, I think
there's like the Charlottesville scenario. Or maybe we get really excited and we decide to occupy Parliament. Like, I'll try to keep myself on an even keel for it.
Because I genuinely think, like, if there's like Charlottesville / like Cronulla Right 2.0, like, I think that sets it back. I think that sets back like centre right nationalism, like, just 30 years in Australia.
I've seen, or it goes forward 30 years. I've seen the posts from the BoomerCons where they're like in the threads.
I'm basically a BoomerCon, John. I'm basically a BoomerCon. I'm like the last.
I don't know. Basically. But they're saying like, oh, we need like a code of conduct and we need rules and stuff, and, you know, your flag has to be so big or whatever. And I'm like, what if we just have a rule where we don't do anything seditious? Like, we just don't do a coup. We don't Euromaidan it. We don't decide to occupy anything.
Oh my God.
We don't bring any accelerants. Like that, I think that'll be fine.
That. I'm fully disavowing that. I don't.
If we just say we're not gonna do any crimes, then I think it'll be fine. Look, and the other thing is, we're right wingers. We have jobs. We have families. Like, you know, no one's gonna do anything too stupid. I think it could be fun. Right.
I just want to quickly pause here. I've got this guy in the chat, Corey Pelsman, and he keeps on saying, why are you protecting the guy in the middle? It's George. It's the Adelaide Centre. I don't know what this whole thing is. He's like a conservative guy. I don't understand. It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I told him to shut up, but he just keeps going on and on.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I think he said you're either a Jew or an anti-Semite.
He
Pick
I'm
one.
Greek Orthodox. I'm an
I'm
Orthodox.
Greek Orthodox too. Actually, all three of us are Greek Orthodox, right?
I'm not. I'm
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Were you
I'm,
baptized?
Oh, you're like Nordic.
I'm an occult spiritualist.
Oh,
You're
you
like
baptized?
a pagan,
I was baptized CV.
No, he's
so
Greek
I'm not-
Orthodox.
yeah.
He can't deny it now. It's too late. Sorry, mate. It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't know. Like, I would really think it'd be bad if they just. I mean, if they fuck it up, if they do Cronulla 2.0, there'll just be a massive, massive crackdown on.
Well, this-
They're
every-
not going to do Cronulla 2.0. Cronulla was a specific thing. Like Cronulla was Cronulla.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
But the thing is,
I mean-
even with Cronulla though, right? Like, the reason I bring this up, I've actually seen people over the past year or so, like, try to. The people, normies watching this will be so shocked to hear me say this, but I've seen people on Twitter where obviously it's not normies trying to rehabilitate Cronulla. And they make the point, like, you know, there were the Bilal Scaff rape gang cases, all this stuff. The thing is, though, like, nobody could talk about the Bilal Scaff rape gang cases and the genuine problems with, like, you know, Lebanese Islamists and all this stuff. Nobody could talk about that after Cronulla riot because it was such a disaster. So I just
Yeah, but I mean, the
don't-
Cronulla riots did do something really interesting, which is it sent a really clear message to the federal government that maybe they should cool their jets on diversity and immigration. I mean, we had
Did
a
that
really
actually-
good, we had a
did that
great
even happen,
decade
though?
after the, yeah, it did. It
Did
did
it?
after the decade after the Cronulla riots. Do you remember any of this stuff? It was like a golden age for
Oh, I
Australian
was like
social
7.
cohesion.
I was like 7 years
Like-
old, was it?
It was because we were hurtling towards a point before the Cronulla riots, and there were tensions, and I mean, you obviously had the gang rapes, and there was like but there was noticing going on. There was some noticing.
It was a
about
little
how
bit like the
different life
Pakistani
was.
grooming gangs in
Yeah,
Britain.
and then Cronulla happened, and the government kind of decides, well, maybe we got to cool it with the, you know, multicultural flags and, you know, the rhetoric maybe. And then, of course, you had Stop the Boats. You had a significant change in tone in the wake of that. And we did. In Australia, we had a really great decade, like not a bad decade. And I mean, look, people on the far right will dispute that and say, oh, it was boiling the frog and it was getting worse and you just didn't notice it. But I'm 20 years older than half you guys, and I was there.
Well, I was literally 7.
I thought it was fine. Like it was not as bad. I mean, when we talk about mass migration right now, what we're essentially talking about is a set of policies that were enacted in the wake of COVID. Like that's it. I mean, this is where the problem begins.
That's true.
Like it begins in 2020, 2021 in the post-COVID GDP panic. So, you know, I don't think like the throwbacks to the early 2000s are really going to fly. It's just such a totally different set of issues right now. I mean, there was a good debate today on X. I mean, Stephen Shavura was talking about Islamic immigration and, you know, about whether or not, you know, that's the source of the angst. And a lot of people, not just
And
me,
then
were
they were
calling
trying to
it.
attack it.
Yeah, was saying, well, hey, actually, we don't have the kind of levels of Islamic immigration they do in Northern Europe. That really the problem, it's just the last 4 years. It's the last 4 years since the end of COVID, 1.8 million Chinese Indians filling a hole in gross domestic product with zero regard for its impact on the economy, on social cohesion, you know. So,
That's the crazy thing. It really is post-COVID. Like it's post-COVID
it's a
that they
post-COVID
decided to
problem.
literally triple the pre-COVID numbers.
Quadruple. They quadrupled.
Yeah, quadrupled them. Yeah.
To be honest, the way the economists actually worked it out, and this is how the government did it, was if the COVID pandemic never happened, what were the birth rates going to look like? Where would the population be if that never occurred? That's how they kind of worked it out. So they were trying to balance the whole act, and they just completely failed because they didn't take into account all the stoppage of the economy and what that actually meant in terms of a macro lens. But another issue is like, we can't stop immigration, essentially. It's literally impossible. If we do, Australia will go back into it, literally go into a depression. But there are solutions, and an easy solution, and I want to hear what you guys take on this, is do exactly what other countries across the world do, but in a humane way. Do temporary immigration, where you let people come in. They do
like the
their
UAE,
work.
like the Gulf countries.
Yeah, but not so slave-like. Actually have
Yeah.
it done well, like Australian kind of done well. And you know what? Australian was
Singapore
famous
does
in the
this. Singapore does
Yeah,
this.
well, Australia's famous in Asia. You know why? Because in the 1970s, we let all these people come in from Southeast Asia, get educated, assimilate into the Australian culture for a few years. Then they go back to their countries and make their countries a better place. You know, we can do that on a grander scale with our industry and in many different sectors. It doesn't just have to be education.
Well, the problem that we have is so 50% of the country is employed either directly or indirectly by the federal government, and then on the other 50%, all the capital that's grown in our country now is through property development, or well, not even property development, just through property equity growth. So there's no real, like, when we talk about bringing people in, it's not like we're Silicon Valley and we need to bring in engineers to make fucking apps. Like, we're not doing that. We're bringing in ass wipers, child carers, hairdressers, ballet instructors, which is an actual thing.
Yeah, that's an actual
thing that we bring.
Oh, the best one. You know what the best one is? Travel agents. Travel agents were a special category. Category for travel agents.
The government. I mean, the whole point of this is the government doesn't care what they do so long as they pay tax and they consume and they contribute to GDP. So the whole thing is just a Ponzi scheme. So look, you're right. I mean, where I disagree with you is when you say we'll go into a depression. Well, my view is that we're going to have a depression. And the mission of any right-wing Australian government going forward is to figure out how to stop a depression, like how to make out of a depression a recession, and then we do another early 1990s recession that we have to have. It's the only way we can fix it and figure out.
The problem is, though, John, how do you sell that to the Australian people? Like that is
this is the problem. Like it's a hard sell. But you know what? Yeah. But I do have this view that, my experience in politics was always that if you were ruthlessly honest with people, they would respect it and go along with it. And I saw that multiple times over the years with really like policies like the GST. Yeah, or like when Mike Baird wanted to sell off the poles and wires in New South Wales to build the Metro and WestConnex and whatever, he was just honest and said, I'm going to privatize poles and wires, power prices might go up, and then we're going to build all this cool shit. Like, maybe we just have to be honest and say, we're going to drive the country into a recession. This is how we're going to ameliorate the impacts. But we have to have one because we just can't keep going on this course because we've created a Ponzi scheme economy. There's no other way out of it. Like option one is have a controlled recession. Option two is we keep going until either the minority white Australians literally revolt and start hanging people, or the economy just crashes.
The scary thing is
the problem is it's not just the economy though. It's that it's more essentially the housing crisis that would form as well. Because if all the housing drops,
you destroy the financial sector, you destroy every bank in the country.
I think it's a bit like it's not more like controlled recession. It's like this is 30 years of bad government policy that we're dealing with right now. 30
it literally
years
it nukes all the banks. It's like our own GFC.
It does the opposite, dude. It makes the banks an enormous amount of profit because what's going to happen is if you my strategy would be, come in, fix 5-year migration pause, fix migration at net zero for 5 years. Then we can't really do remigration because people are funny about that. So you do a 33% remittance tax, which if you look at the demographic profile of the people who've come in post-COVID, these are predominantly economic migrants. They're flogging $38 billion home to India and China per year. So if you slap them with a massive tax on remittances, they will leave. Even the ones who've been here for 4 years and are now citizens. I mean, these people are global citizens. They're going to look around and say, well, if I can't send my grandparents half my income every week, I'm going to try my luck in the US. I'm going to try my luck in the UK. I'm not going to stay in Australia and have the Commonwealth take 30% of my pay when I try to send it home. So that will force a lot of people out. The contraction will then come on the housing market. And how you manage that is through, well, firstly, you've got to get rid of negative gearing so that all these over-leveraged investors get the fuck out of the market. Because they shouldn't be in the market as it is. The only reason they're there is because of negative gearing. So you'll have panic selling. And the panic selling will create the spiky volatility in our housing market, which we need for young people to be able to buy homes. The long-term aim for the housing market needs to be making it look like the stock market, right? If on a logarithmic chart over 20 years, stocks go up. If you put $1 million into the stock market in 1996, it's going to be worth compounding 5% today. I mean, that's going to be worth what? Like almost $55 million, right? So that's how the stock market should look. But on any given day, that's how the housing market should look. On any given day, The stock market goes down, the stock market goes up, and you can buy the dip. You can get into the market at a lower rate, and that's how you generate wealth. You can't do that in property because when you look at property prices, they just go up over time. So we need to create an environment where logarithmically over time, property continues going up so that people's investment in their own home is worthwhile. But we need to make it so that day to day, week to week, you can pick up a bargain. If you're a young person looking for a home, there'll be bargains. And how we do that is by targeting things like negative gearing. So people go, oh, fuck, I can't afford my house anymore. Sell. And then you'll pick something up at a lower price. So we get that volatility into the housing market so that it keeps going up, but there'll be good days and there'll be bad days, as any healthy market should have. And that's how you basically save the housing market. Because what politicians are struggling with is, on the one hand, they need to keep housing prices going up for infinity so that boomers don't go crazy and start, doing like fucking ISIS shit. And they also need to make sure that young people get houses, right? That's how you do it. And that's how you get through the crisis when you start kicking all the immigrants out. So
we have more than 3 million temporary visas in Australia right now. That's a huge number.
Yeah, well, do the maths. It's like almost 10% of more than 10% of the population, right? That's like,
literally more than 10% of the population. Bloody
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
1,000 people a day at this point.
1 in 27 Australians is an international student. 1 in 27 Australians is an international student. It's amazing.
It's not sustainable. And this is why people are mad. I mean, I've been around right-wing politics for a long time, and I've never seen a bunch of boomers on Facebook saying, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to go out to like the center of town and protest, right?
But the question is though, John, I don't understand this, right? Because this was happening prior to the election, but then and I genuinely thought Dutton was going to win, but then there was just this, it was blowout. It was a blowout election. I wonder, what do you think? It just I don't know, Dutton being uncharismatic, and it's like Trump.
Oh yeah, I think those issues with Dutton. I really don't think. Well, I mean, one issue that they keep suggesting is that 4 years of mass migration has obviously pushed Labor's vote up. I mean, they're bringing in Labor voters, right? So that's one factor.
You know what's difficult? If only we could have Cos here as well. Get 4 Greeks.
Yeah, a fourth Greek.
Because look, the problem is, I have a respectful relationship with Cos. I like Cos, but sometimes he literally does great replacement posting on the main. He'll just literally say he'll literally make a post saying the Liberals will never win again because the Labor Party is bringing in all these migrants, and that's good. And it's like, bro, why are you saying that? That's really
it sucks. It sucks though, because I do agree with him this time. But the other thing is, in the back of my head, I know that he said this in 2022. He said this exact thing. And then at Christmas before the election, Dutton was 50-50 with Albert, right?
Yeah, so that's true. That's true.
Within 3 years, they did come back. And so we're all saying now, oh, yes, the Susan Labor Party is never going to get in. But
that's true.
And
look,
she won't last, to be honest. She's going to be gone.
Yeah, she's going to be gone. Look, I think Hasty would do really well. I do want to say, I think the Cos doomerism is too much because, I've seen firsthand, there are migrant communities that are actually fully conservative. They hate crime. They don't want infinity migration. Look at the Greeks. Greeks are like that. A lot of the Greeks are. And,
but I mean, Greeks aren't even a migrant community anymore.
True.
Do you know any first-generation Greek migrants?
Okay, that's true. I
don't know a single.
That's true. That said, though, I have actually personally encountered though before, Indian communities groups that are just feral on the issue of crime. They literally want to behead youth criminals in Queensland.
Yeah.
There are Indian community groups in Queensland that if you offered them the ability to shoot youth criminals, they would do it.
Well, they can in their home country, so that's wonder why they can't do it here. Yeah.
So I don't know. When Cos says that an Indian voter is infinitely going to always vote for Labor Party, I think he's being a little bit silly there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And plus, it's also not just Indians, right? It's Chinese are the other major.
I am really
from the last few years. So it's Indians and Chinese.
This is a really good, interesting subject to discuss. it seems that basically all the major parties, both Labor and Liberals, have internalized this idea that basically the Chinese Australian community supports the Chinese government, and then if you go hard against the Chinese government, they're going to vote against you. That's what it seems like the Labor Party has basically internalized, and that's what it seems like the Liberal Party is like kind of internalizing under Susan Ley.
But it's only true in some key marginals, right? Like if you look at I can only speak for Sydney and Hobart, but in Hobart, our Chinese community are predominantly like Cantonese folks who moved out here under the white Australian policy because they spoke perfect English, so they don't really count. And then in Sydney, you've got like that first wave of late 1970s, early 80s Cantonese migrants who predominantly live in the inner city and in the eastern suburbs, or maybe out in the outer ring. Then you've got in the recent years this massive wave, like in the last 5 years, who've gone out to like Chatswood, to Ryde, to Lane Cove, so up in the north and the hills, which just so happen to be Liberal key marginals, so Bradfield, etc. And so when you see them shilling for Chinese votes, they're not shilling for the folks who've got like a third generation yum cha restaurant on George Street. They're shilling for the generation who moved out here with equity or on student visas in the last 5 years. Like it's a totally different cohort to what you think. Like
this is a question, right? How long does it actually take to get citizenship in this country?
4 years, dude. 4 years. You can become a citizen in 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can also get your parents in as well after another 4 or 5 years. You automatically get your whole family down.
I thought you had to at least get a degree first. Like, so say you do a 3-year degree and then another 4 years. It's 4 years straight up.
4 years and you're eligible to apply, right? So the guys that Albo was on Twitter bringing in today, it's extremely likely that they are the migrants from the post-COVID wave, right? These are the guys that they brought in after COVID because it only takes 4 years.
Another issue, let's go for technology, for example, with AI going so crazy at the moment. A lot of these immigrants coming in are doing a lot of service work as well. I think with AI and the way it's going, a lot of this service work will be automated. You won't even need people to do it anymore. What happens to that 1 million people doing the service work after that's done? What happens to those 1 million people?
But dude, I've said this on podcasts in the past that I think that's the whole reason behind why you're seeing this globally is that the captains of industry in our world today, Elon Musk, etc., they've studied how automation has failed to be rolled out in the West in the past. And they've realized the single biggest impediment to automating industries in the West is you can't take away white guys' jobs because we get super angry and we change governments. So what if you bring in millions of third world migrants to do those jobs? Because if you automated every call center in Australia today, if Elon Musk came along and said, "Look, someone's contracted us to tokenize Grok at every second for $1 billion a year, and all Australian call centers are going to shut down and be replaced with AI," not a single Australian would care. We'd go, good. We'd go, all right, so I'm going to talk to a robot Australian instead of someone in Mumbai. Like, I'm good. I'm glad, right? If they rolled out automated Ubers, so you get in an Uber and there's no driver, like no Bangladeshi like whispering into his phone the whole trip, we'd say, great. We'd say, oh, so those guys aren't coming in anymore? That's great, right? If a humanoid robot is going to come to my house with a fucking brush and clean my toilet, like, I'd say fine. So what? No immigrants to do that anymore?
But
that's what they're doing. They are preparing us for the inevitable introduction of AI because we're going to look around and go, oh, so you're going to get rid of all these migrant jobs. That's fantastic.
John, here's the question though, right? So you say that like the average person would be happy to have like lower migration when it comes to like, automating Uber jobs and stuff. But like, how do we explain like literally the pathology of somebody like Adu or Purple Pingers or or even like Abby Chatfield? Like, I don't actually understand, but they genuinely seem to believe it's a weird thing that they have, but they genuinely seem to believe that like somebody from anywhere has this like God-given right to come to the country and after like 1 year
But
become.
it's just a fundamental. It's a fundamental ideological thing for them. Like they don't believe in national borders, and they think, and also with a lot of those guys, there's this huge element of like punishment. Like they want to punish. They want to punish Western civilization for daring to teach brown people how to use knives and forks. And so the punishment is you have to bring them all to your country.
But there's also an element of okay, for example, you're from China. You're 25 years old, you have a family, you're gonna have some kids. Your kids have to go up against another 4 million students. So it's also the competition. The competition levels in China up here. In Australia, your kid's going up against what? A few 10,000s? It's nothing. Yeah. So there's an incentive to move to Australia because there is less competition and people just want to be a little bit richer. That's essentially all it is. They want a better life. And the Abby Chatfields of this world, I don't know if they know this consciously, but maybe subconsciously they're thinking, oh, these people are making an effort. That's why they want to come here. That means they want to be better people.
I honestly don't think it's that. I think it's just genuinely like... I think for a lot
industry plant.
No, I honestly think for most of the leftists, it's like they hate white people and it's like punishment for the sin of being white.
But
I think it's like literally this metaphysical...
Why do they hate white people for? What
I think colonialism...
Because colonialism, it's colonialism, it's Marbo, it's the vibe.
I know this. Yeah. I know this because I once used to be a leftist, right? Like, I think the idea that they will have in their head is like, if white people are not a majority anymore, then somehow we cure racism. Racism won't exist anymore if everything's diverse. But it actually makes things more racist. Like it makes things so much worse because then you get like sectarian conflict in the streets like the UK, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want to
it's worse. It's worse than that though, dude. Like you don't just cure racism, you just end up with global Zimbabwe. Like that's what your country looks like in that scenario, right? So I mean, this is what defines a right winger to one of them is because if you said to me, would you rather live in a world without racism but it's governed like Zimbabwe, or would you rather live in a racist government? I'd take racism. Like I'm going to take racism every time.
But here's the thing that I don't understand though, right? Like I genuinely think it's mostly white leftist activists who push this stuff though, because like the average old Chinese boomer in the suburbs of Brisbane, like they don't want to have Zimbabwe government. They would hate that.
No,
like,
they don't.
The average Chinese or Indian boomer in the suburbs of the country, and like I'm talking people who have generations in the country, but like the average person, second, third generation Chinese Indian migrant, they want the death penalty for youth migrant crime, youth criminals. So it's like I think this whole like we want global Zimbabwe thing, I think it's mainly left self-hatred from white people. I think
it is. Honestly. It is like that. And also because they have no experience. And like one of the things I've noticed in the last few years with like this younger generation of leftists, like the Purple Pingers, Abby Chatfield generation, that certainly when I was their age, we didn't see from leftists, is because like when I was that age, like, 20 years ago, that generation of leftists traveled and they went all over the world. And so then they came home to Australia and they went, look, I got a lot of left-wing views, but you know what? Cambodia sucks. And so they kind of sit there and think, yeah, look, communism's great or whatever, but now I've been to a communist country. I kind of don't want it. But this is the thing I noticed with all the current generation, and COVID was a major contributing factor to this because it took if you're under 25 right now, I personally just think a lot of you are retards because you've never gone anywhere. You didn't have the opportunity that people like me had when we were kids.
But that's it,
so they don't know how bad things can get.
I think Abby Chatfield and Purple Pingers have gone. They're rich though. They go travel.
They've traveled. She just came back from Athens recently.
Yeah,
and she said Athens was the greatest city in the world.
Wow, really?
Yeah. She said it's the greatest city in the world.
Athens is the greatest city. Dude, we're all Greek. We're all Greek. I don't think any of us would agree with that. We're all Greek. None of us.
I think it's cool. I don't know.
It's good.
Honestly, it was the one time I actually agreed with her in my entire life. I was like, you know what? Athens is a cool city.
Mate, I stopped smoking, so I care about air quality now. Like I can't go to city. I won't go to a city unless I can see the sky. That's why I moved down to Tasmania for the air.
There are full neighborhoods in Athens that are like full anarchist communist,
They do a big protest once a year where they just break stuff. It's great. You got to go. Yeah. Have you done the protest there?
No. Look, I don't agree with Abby Chatfield. My cousins go.
I do. I love Abby Chatfield.
I see my cousins. like I've got left-wing cousins and family members and stuff, and they go to Athens and they post photos, and it's like just like a trashy neighborhood with like trash on the ground, and there's just graffiti on the wall saying like "Free Gaza," and they think it looks cool, and I look at that, I'm like, no, Athens looks like a bit of a shithole.
But like, I mean, I care more about what a Athens citizen thinks about Gaza than I do about an Australian leftist, because, like, I mean, on a clear day, you can kind of see it from Athens. Like, if you look far south enough, like, I mean, they do kind of have, you know, they're a part of the Mediterranean. Like, I mean,
it's the gateway to Europe. So,
I just want to respond. Like everyone in the chat keeps on asking me to talk about racism from Indians to white people. Listen, I'll give you one example. I think Peter Varghese, the guy who tried to expel me from UQ, I think he genuinely hates white people. I think he genuinely really hates white people, Peter Varghese. But look, I think my experience is that the average, like at least people who have a couple generations here in Australia, they do a similar. And I do think that
of course,
the average one has conservative social values in the sense that like they encounter youth criminals and they want to death penalty them. I agree with them on that. So I don't know. Like,
the problem as well, though, is the assimilation process. Like, why do the Greeks and Italians come in and fit so well? One, it's because we're Christians, which helps a lot. But two, it was done in a slow trickle manner. It wasn't done at this rapid rate. It took my dad like 30 years to accept that he could speak English. Like, it took him 30 years to basically put a sentence together. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who come here and never let go of their home country, even if they admit that it's a shithole.
Dude, this is so true. And I've actually said this before in debates, right? Like, I actually think that we're almost lucky, right? Like Greek Australians who get to assimilate into Australian culture. I think we're almost lucky, right? Because there's not enough Greeks in the country that you grow up in a fucking ghetto that's just Greek. Like you don't, like you are forced to assimilate. Yeah. Like I've actually said, like, if I grew up in a suburb that was 99% Greek and everyone around me spoke Greek and like I never had any interaction with white Australians or anything, that'd be bad. I've seen there's a you know what was a really blackpilling moment for me? There's this show on SBS called The Mosque Next Door. And essentially it's like an Islamic school in Brisbane. And they do an exchange with like Christian schools and everything. And it's supposed to be this really beautiful, feel-good diversity moment and everything. But if you watch the advertisements for the show, some of the kids in the Islamic school are literally say, I've never encountered a white Australian in my life. And they're like 10 years old. It's like, bruh, that is really, that's disturbing. That's really disturbing. If you could go through your entire life and never encounter a white Australian ever.
But like, there's parts of Sydney that are like that, 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They have been for a while. Like,
and to be fair, same with me. Like, I'm second generation. My dad was Greek. My mum was born in Melbourne, but she's basically Greek. And I didn't even speak English till I was like 7 or 8, dude. Like, really. Like, even at school, like they wanted to hold me back because I just refused to speak English. I just didn't want to. Like,
I don't speak a word of Greek. I'm
like John.
My grandfather moved out here in 1950 and he stopped speaking Greek and he's never been back. And I don't think he even really likes it that much. And like my mum didn't go to Greek school or anything. Like, the only benefit is
you can just basically meta through science because you just understand the Greek word and you go, oh, that means proto first, and then and then you put it together. Oh, cool. I never did any study for science. I just knew it because of the language.
On my mum's side, it was the 50s, so they've been here for 70 plus years, and then my dad's side, it's the 60s, so it's like 60 years. And it's interesting. I think when I was a kid, like I deliberately did, like I actually really wanted to assimilate when I was a kid. So like my grandparents wanted me to go to Greek school and wanted me to do Greek dancing and Greek language school and stuff.
Did your parents speak Greek at home?
No, not really at home. They can speak conversational with their parents, but they pretty much were pretty assimilated. And then when I was growing up, like my grandparents, my Bapu Yaya wanted me to go to Greek school and stuff like that. And I was like a shitty kid. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do it because I wanted to assimilate as Australian. Honestly, it's sad. I wish that I had another language. It'd be great to speak Greek. But like, I think I'm pretty.
I'd like the EU citizenship. That could have helped me with some of my legal dramas over the years. Like next time ICAC comes knocking, I just get on a plane.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I think my brother went through like a 5-year process so that he could get citizenship with Cyprus. But like, I'm never going to do that.
Do you have to join the army if you do that? If you go over?
Yeah. Well, compulsory? If you're over there for more than 6 weeks, you get automatically inducted. And so my brother's only gone over there for like 4 weeks and he just left.
I'd just be fun. I mean, what's going to happen in Cyprus?
Quick question for you guys, because I actually just generally want to know from Greek to Greek. All right. And I'm talking, bring out your ancient ancestors here. If for the next 10 years, we do start stepping into an Australia where there is digital ID, you can go to jail for saying a certain thing. Like, Drew, you might say, oh, screw China. Next minute, you're in a cell. What is your plan of attack? Are you going to leave? Are you going to stay and fight for this country? What's if this goes full dystopian? What are you going to do?
I've got no other citizenship, and I don't think going to Cyprus would be any better because, like, in Greece and Cyprus, they're really close with Russia and China. So I don't know. I have to stay and fight. I think I have to stay and fight. I think worst case scenario, if I literally was about to face like the death penalty, if I was literally going to get shot by the government, I'd probably go to America maybe and have free speech protections there. I'm not sure. What do you think, John?
I'm going to go work for the government and sell you out. That's my plan. And then I'll do like a Schindler's List thing, though. Like, I'll help smuggle some of you into the US. Superbly says, "Hey, John, can Greeks enter Hyperborea?" I mean, technically, we were the original descendants of Hyperborea. So
that's true. That's
yes,
actually true.
Yeah,
that is very.
I don't know. It is an interesting question, though, and I've been getting worried. Look, my initial worry with the digital ID, like the censorious kind of crackdown we're experiencing, like I'm more worried about the chaos of how incompetent it's going to be rolled out than I am about like ending up in a fucking dictatorship with it. Like, I don't think there's as much risk of them, just because I just don't think they're smart enough, like, to actually really fuck us with it. Like,
I agree with that. If you look at,
I'm more worried about the chaos it's going to cause. Like,
look at Britain, right? Like right now, they're struggling to implement the VPN shit over there.
But
like,
they're reasonably competent. So, like, I mean, they're already getting because I mean they've already got cops. They got cops going out and knocking on people's doors. Like, people are serving 7-8 year prison sentences.
I think it's like 40 arrests a day at the moment.
Yeah.
With the new 40 arrests a day.
We can't arrest 40 kids with machetes a year. Do you think they can seriously pull that off? Like, I just don't. That's my worry, and I worry about what the impact of the looming sense of impotence is going to have on the government and how much worse it makes it. And I just worry about, like, I mean, like, and it goes back to the immigration thing, but like, you look at the chaos in our banks right now, right? I mean, you can't walk into a bank and draw out $2,000 because, ASIC, have got these ridiculous regulations on, cash handling, which are there because, we have all these scams and stuff that are happening in our neighborhoods. But like, look at that and think about how boomers are going to deal with having to log in to Google every time they open up a Chrome browser. Like, it is just going to be chaotic. And I think that's going to be the immediate concern before they start arresting us for bad takes.
I think for me, I'm less concerned about the digital ID side because I kind of agree with John. I don't really think that they're that competent. I think my biggest concern long term is that Australia just like basically dissolves as a nation. There's literally just like nothing that holds Australia together as a country. And then like in just 20, 30 years time, like, I don't know, just something happens and China just essentially renders us a vassal state. This is something that I keep on saying over and over and over again lately. Like, if people genuinely believe that Australia is stolen land, who the fuck is going to literally defend Australia and the event of being invaded?
Yeah.
Literally, no, like, you can't. Yeah. Like, it's so ingrained. People don't understand this, right? Like, I sometimes have people respond to that argument by going like, oh, well, you can acknowledge that it's stolen without saying it should be handed back. And it's like, no, dude, we're so thoroughly imbued with the sort of Christian moral culture where theft is a morally wrong act, and the way to make restitution from theft is to return. So you can't have this idea that the country is stolen and then still say that the country should exist. And yeah, that's what I'm concerned about. Genuinely, how do you even have a country at that point? We've got 94 Labor MPs in the parliament. Probably, is it 6 Teals or 7 Teals, 1 Green?
6, I think, yeah.
So more than 100 MPs in our 150 member parliament are progressive. Add the Liberal wets, right? If you had to like literally do a survey of the elected representatives in our parliament, I reckon you'd get a comfortable majority who would agree with the proposition that Australia is stolen land.
Yeah.
And that
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And you've literally, at that point, you've literally got a majority of your government, a majority of your parliament believe that the country from a foundational basis is not legitimate. And that's why I think that they're all post-nationalists. I think that's why they're all like, they believe that Australia should not have a border. They believe that Australia can't have any kind of immigration control because they think that it shouldn't have even begun. They don't think that Australia even should exist as a country.
Well,
they think it should be Avatar.
Issue. Yeah, honestly, I think that highlights actually the biggest issue Australia has. More than mass immigration, Australia has, if not the lowest standards of competency in the world. We will take anyone. Yeah. And I think that actually is Australia's biggest issue, is this, like, I don't know, call it DEI, but basically anyone can do anything. You can have a 21-year-old senator from South Australia come in, and
Yeah.
she's a senator.
Oh.
You can have,
but you're exactly right, dude. You're exactly right. And like,
Charlotte Walker. Oh my god.
I call it, I mean, you know, we think about like, you know, the elements of the Australian character that kind of define us through the 20th century. Like I call it toxic egalitarianism, right? We have this idea in Australia that everyone is equal, and therefore there is no difference between, you know, a guy who's, you know, been CEO of a company for 40 years becoming an MP, or a barrister who's a King's Counsel becoming an MP, and a 21-year-old girl. In the Australian mindset, those three things are the same, and you will get the same outcome. And so, like, and this predates DEI. I mean, the Americans at least have like a sense of exceptionalism, and so they reward exceptional people. We don't
have that. Yeah, we hate that.
So, you know, it's a miracle. And like I always say in Australia, like it's a miracle that more of us haven't died in plane crashes. And, you know, I've been into air traffic control towers on 3 occasions in my life. And the most comforting thing that I've ever seen is that they're all British people. And I always think to myself, like, thank fuck they don't let Australians run air traffic control towers. There's a guy on Twitter I follow, Matt Grant. He's older even than me, and he actually helped build some of these things. And he posted a thing today about how the new one at Badgerys Creek is completely automated. And I thought, oh, thank fuck, like that we're not letting any of us run this shit, because we're an incompetent country that rewards morons. We have no sense of excellence unless you're a swimmer. Like,
that's literally the only
thing that we can judge is like, can you fast? Can you swim the length of an Olympic swimming pool or kick a football? Someone just put in the chat, said tall poppy syndrome has destroyed us.
Australia's spiritual animal is conformity, and it's riddled in our entire history. It's just a conformist nation, and it comes from every single bracket.
It's so ironic that we lionize people like Ned Kelly and stuff, when the reality is it is a very conformist country.
And this is how we end up with like something like the NDIS, where we sit there and we say, like, this is the toxic egalitarianism is so deeply ingrained that we look at our national economy and say, like a system of an economic system which is entirely reliant on taking retards out for coffee is just as valid as like building a Silicon Valley. Like, these two things are the same. Like, so long as the line goes up, they're the same. And you see it over and over again in Australian economics, in Australian politics. Like, we can't make a judgment call on excellence and averageness.
But
we just
I'm retarded myself. I am myself retarded, so I have to say, like, I'm retarded myself, so I sympathize. But like, you know what the funny thing is? You know Jordan Steele John, the Green Senator from West Australia, he wanted to put ADHD into the NDIS. Dude, we would all be on the NDIS. Everyone in this chat would really be there.
I wouldn't. I'm fine. But in Tasmania, this was a major election commitment during the Tasmanian election campaign. Both major parties and the Greens committed. Do you know what? One of the crazier things they committed to was not just putting ADHD into like some government list, but actually making it so that GPs, like ordinary GPs, could prescribe your Dexies. Right, so you're just going to start feeding more amphetamines to dumb kids. Like, come on.
This is the sad
like that South Park meme. Have you seen that 90s South Park meme with the ADHD, and the best way to solve it was just a simple smack? And now we don't do anything like that. Did you see that one? Have you seen it, Drew?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've seen that one, but I was going to say though, right, this is the sad reality. I could realistically, like, obviously I'm not going to do this because I have some level of self-respect for myself and also for the country. But realistically, like, I could probably doctor shop around, get like an autism diagnosis, and get on the NDIS and get like a $100K a year plan. Like, realistically, I probably could do that. Yeah. And like,
100%. All they have to do is like look at your X stream.
Yeah,
like, look at your timeline.
Yeah. But like, I still think that would be wrong. Like, obviously I'm an eccentric person, but I still think it would be wrong if I was getting $100,000 a year as though I was disabled, because I'm not somebody. Like, fair enough, if you're actually severely disabled and you actually need it, like, fair enough. Like, we should be humane, but my God, like, there are people who are taking the piss so badly on this stuff. And like, and I could realistically, if I was a total shit cunt, I could literally probably doctor shop, get an autism diagnosis with ADHD, get on the NDIS, get $100K a year or whatever. And I don't need that though. But there are people who are
Yeah.
doing this, and I think
Yeah,
that's so sick.
Swindon
Like,
just said all they have to do is check your Hearts of Iron 4 time played on Steam. Like, are you in the NDIS number of hours, or are you in the you're a Nazi number of hours?
Here. You know what's funny though? Like, I was reading the other day, there are literally NDIS gaming studios where,
Oh yeah.
dude, like they're getting paid government money to just play video games, and it's like, bro.
I saw an ad the other day for a guy in my town where they'll go and play Dungeons and Dragons with you. So they're just
Oh my
like
God.
neckbeards playing Dungeons and Dragons, but they're getting NDIS bucks for it. Like, I thought that was a pretty good scam, actually. I was thinking I could do that. Yeah. Dungeon Master. Like, I get Mark Latham in on it.
Mark Latham.
Niche joke for the chat.
Like when you, growing up, did you guys notice? And this is, I just want to know the cultural thing because you guys are all Greek, and this is very unique having 3 Greeks here. When you wanted to like have a chat with the Anglo-Australians, for example, did you feel like, I don't know, when you're in your high school years or even a little bit older, the only way they'll ever open up to you about anything is if they were like 10 beers deep or on like an extreme amount of pingers or something like that? Did you see that happen across what you were dealing with, or was it a bit more open for you guys?
I still don't open up to people now unless I'm on 5 or 6 pingers.
I don't know. Like, that's a good question, but I don't know. Like, my dad's one of those like old Greeks who just don't talk about anything. Whereas I guess I'm more of an expressive bloke. My problem is I unburden myself to the entire world. Like, I just tell everybody, like, I literally crowdsource life advice on Twitter all the time. So like,
and sometimes it's good, and other times it's me telling you to buy a gun so that your wallet doesn't get stolen anymore.
Yeah. Okay, I've got an interesting question for you guys, right? What can we do, right? You've got people like Fatima Payman who are like, in some ways they're extremely assimilated because like at the end of the day, like Fatima Payman goes to like music festivals and stuff. Like, I don't think like a full-blown Islamist extremist would do that. But at the other, and you know, she's got an Australian accent and stuff like that. But on the other hand though, like her loyalty is like not to really Australia, really at all. Like, how do we address that? Like, what do we do about that?
Well, I mean, one scenario is like if something bad enough happens, do they just all rally around it? I mean, there was a kind of feeling. I mean, before things got super crazy in COVID, like there was a moment where you kind of thought maybe like an existential threat to our country might actually bring people together. Like, I still believe that, you know, like if a meteorite was heading towards a country or something, maybe you'd get people going, well, it's better than the other options. I mean, the other thing is that, and you know, how much of this stuff is just driven by like online echo chambers, you know, and if you take people out of those scenarios, like maybe they get a bit more sensible. I don't know, because everyone I know is in an online echo chamber. So
I think this is a good point. Like Moldbug says, it's like there's nothing more American than hating America, and like that's kind of true. Like Zoran Mamdani, I've had this take before, but like Zoran Mamdani, like if you look at how he has assimilated, he basically has the same views as like the average white leftist who's read Howard Zinn's, you know, book about American history and hates America and stuff like that. I think it's really toxic when an immigrant assimilates into white self-hating culture, because then if you're a boomer, you look at that and you're like, this person just hates me based on racial grounds. You can't see the sophisticated nuances there that like they've actually internalized like white self-hating culture. But
they don't all do that.
And
they didn't always do that. Like if you look at the, you know, those first waves of like Vietnamese refugees that came out in the post-Vietnam War era, I mean, those guys are patriots. Like they love this country because they hate communism.
I agree.
And actually, I mean, this is the thing that when people say, "Oh, we had this like multicultural success story," we didn't really have a multicultural success story. We had an anti-communist success story, because what we kept doing was finding the victims of Comintern in the Cold War and saying, "Hey, you want to come here? Like we're chilled out, we eat meat pies and we drink and we have kangaroos. It's better than
it goes back down to
getting tortured."
This is what I'm saying. The drop of standards has enabled. It's a symptom. Like all we're dealing is a symptom of the bad standards. So immigration standards drop. What do you have?
There are
you
no
have
standards
people...
now.
No, there's no
cultural standards at all. You're not even expected to like Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have 2 hands, 2 feet, you're welcome. No, tall poppy syndrome, someone mentioned in chat, is the example of if you show any form of excellence or any form of contrarian thought or any sort of ambition, you're instantly hunted down. You're clipped. Yeah. So you have to just be basic. You want to get along. You don't tell the truth to your friends. And I, honestly, like, leave the whole like craziness of the pandemic. The pandemic was a classic example of saying how much we just do whatever the government says. They say jump, we say how high. We'll do whatever they say. It's literally just it's ingrained in our culture. So I'm not sure. I guess the real question is, what has led to Australia dropping its standards so much? What is the cause of that? That's what I think
it's self-hatred. I think it's self-hatred. Like, I think it's genuinely the idea. It's all cultural relativism stuff, and I think they think that to have any cultural standards whatsoever for assimilation is racist. And I think that's retarded. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but although on the way that colleges we just like blindly follow our government, like I do wonder if a big part of it is that Australia's never had, like, the most kind of culturally significant thing that happened in the United States was, I mean, JFK dies, Watergate, right? And that's kind of like a mask off moment for the American public, and they go, "Oh shit, our government sucks." And they never got over that. They've always kind of known how crooked they all are. We've never had that in this country.
Yeah,
like, sure, we had Scott Morrison, and Scott Morrison sucked, but we never had a moment where we went, "Oh, Scott Morrison's trying to kill me." Like, he doesn't.
It was like Scotty from Scotty. It was Scotty from marketing. It wasn't like literally Pakistani.
He was just a shit cunt. He wasn't like a demon.
We had that prime minister who went missing when he went for a swim. That's
Harold Holt. Yeah. I mean, but he was a good prime minister. Like, do you know Harold Holt actually ended the White Australia policy? Yeah, we sure showed him. But
do you think it's the colleges? Do you think it's the education system? Because where does like, I get it, it's a self-hating stuff, right? But
a big part. I think a big part of it is how bad our media is, and the media that Australians consume. Like, we have one of the most shallow and kind of vapid media markets in the Western world. Like, that I've ever seen.
It is shit. Like, it is really shit.
I've been to countries with like. Yeah, you go to countries that have 1/10 of Australia's population, and you turn on the TV and there's more TV channels and more diversity of opinion than we get in a country of 20 million people. I mean, there's better news in Cuba than there is in Australia. Is like the most jarring one. Like,
but don't you think it's funny that curators like Asmongold, Hassan Pike, all these creators are always reacting to Australian Sky News? Like, isn't that just the most odd phenomenon you've ever witnessed? Like, why is Australian Sky News like the kind of bracket for every big streamer to look at? What's happened there?
Well, because it's News Corp, and so News Corp pumps this stuff out. I mean, this goes to my point about why Australian media is so bad. I mean, like, this is the only thing I will give the left in Australia. This one thing that they've ever been right about, and they're right about News Corp. That's it.
I disagree.
That's the one thing they're right about.
John, I actually disagree.
They're not going to hire you, Drew. You're not getting a job. They're not going to give you a Sky show.
John, let me do this though, right? If we didn't have News Corp though, there would literally be not a single conservative outlet ever. Wouldn't that be the case? There'd be literally
dude, when Fairfax used to be conservative. Fairfax used to be enormously conservative. Do you know the most conservative outlet in Australia, I mean, for most of my career, was the ABC, right? I mean, we used to have this like running joke during federal election campaigns. We'd sit down at night, we'd watch 7, 9, 10, ABC, SBS, and we'd like rank the newses. And I mean, the most fair, balanced, and consistently conservative news outlet in the early 2000s was always the ABC. And I mean, one day they just changed on a dime. Like, I can tell you, like, the year it changed was in 2013, and it just flipped overnight. And this is part of the problem in Australia. Like, there is no conservative alternative. Sky News tries it on sometimes, but, they only produce about 3 hours of content a day. And they are just wholly captured by the whole Israel thing. So, you can't have a sane discussion about Australian foreign policy on Sky News. And
I bet you'd support this, John. Did you know they gave Freya Leach a show recently?
I do know that. Yeah. I know, because a lot of my McGowan heads on Twitter have changed their names to various variations on Freya Leach. But I mean, of course they did. Of course
Where's
they
the
did.
Drew show? Where's the Pavlos Patriot Sky News
Well,
show?
Drew, your dad is not one of the key lobbyists for Israel in Australia, so you're never going to get a show.
I've been doing massage stuff the whole time.
I know. You have been just massage shilling for years, but it's because your dad. It's your dad's fault, right? Freya doesn't even shill for them that much, but her dad's a made man. That's how it works.
I think it's nice.
It's like Goodfellas. You know, in Goodfellas, when they make Joe Pesci a made man, but the other guys, even though they do all the work, they can't be made men. That's what it's like, right? It's because you're. I mean, they've seen what's under your pants, dude. They know that you're not in the tribe.
I'm not even kidding. I found this out yesterday. Netanyahu's son retweeted me. What the fuck?
Really?
What the fuck?
Wait, what did he retweet? Which one?
It was just like I was just like complaining that they recognize Palestine but not Taiwan, which is my actual opinion. Like, it is a bit bullshit that like we're never going to recognize Taiwan in a million years. But I was kind of shocked that Yair Netanyahu shared that, and I was like, that's probably a bit too Mossadi for me. Like, to have literally, yeah.
Joe Biden fan says Freya Leach should fight Abby Chatfield in a boxing match. It would be epic. I mean, on the one hand, I don't want anyone laying a hand on my Abby, but on the other hand, maybe Drew, we should do those like US style like streamer boxing matches, right? And I'll get a little pair of Sam Hyde glasses, and you can be Hassan. You can be like Australia's Hassan. I'll be Australia's Sam Hyde.
You know what's really interesting though? We don't really have. I mean, maybe it's starting up. Maybe it's going to slowly start up, but we don't really have the streaming culture or the online culture.
No. That's something
I've
always been passionate about. We need to have a better Australian streaming culture because we literally have talent here. We do have the talent. The
problem is that we have like an unusually big podcast market, but the podcast market is like ultra niche. Like, Australians listen to more minutes of podcasts per day than anyone else in the world. But because of that, people aren't going for like the kind of broad, like, here's like your everything podcast. This is Joe Rogan giving you like different shit every day. They're just getting like super into their own interests. So that's why like Australia's top podcasts are all like true crime, like,
But Abby Chatfield's right at the top, isn't she? Isn't she like one of like the top?
I hope so. She's my top, but
she'd be up there. But you got to remember, Abby.
I genuinely don't find her attractive. I have to.
Because you have no taste. Because you have
Abby Chatfield is the kind of the archetype of a lot of the female mindset at the moment, because they all listen to her. Like, all of my female friends, majority of them listen. So they get that's their guardian angel. That is like their Hassan.
That's why she's so dangerous. Like, I mean, look, putting aside my obvious like simping for Abby, like, it's. I mean, I researched this for years, right? It's like there's this profound difference in how right wingers and left wingers, and actually just how men and women consume media. And like, I mean, it's like the old, like, remember when Tucker Carlson got kicked off Fox News, right? And everyone was freaking out saying, oh, Tucker Carlson's talking about the white replacement, the great replacement theory. Well, the fact was, when Tucker said that, every single person in the United States who swings a hammer for a living, who was listening to Tucker, already knew what the great replacement theory was. The reason they listen to Tucker Carlson is to see a tweedy Princeton guy repeat it back to them.
That's true. That's a good point.
They're not tuning in. They're not tuning in so Tucker can tell them what to think. They're tuning in because they want to see someone from outside their own class agree with the things they already think.
I think that's not.
That's not how women and left wingers, who, let's be honest, for all intents and purposes, a woman and a person on the left are the same. That's not how they consume media. They consume media to be told what to think by effectively themselves. Right. That's why right-wing influencers always are kind of like idealized versions of right-wingers. Like, they never actually like look like their audience. They're like what their audience want to believe they look like.
Like Joe Rogan, the big...
like they're an MMA fighter, a special forces soldier, or an academic, you know.
It's a
whereas on the left, they always look like just doughy losers because the audience wants to see themselves reflected. Like, it's funny when I say it, but it's actually 100% true. Like, the audience wants to see themselves, and so women watch Abby Chatfield because when women watch Abby Chatfield, women are seeing themselves giving themselves new information. It's a mirror that talks.
That's true.
It's kind of like a shadow work in like a podcast format, essentially.
Yeah. So
you speak to your subconscious without having to speak to your subconscious through the media.
that's what the left want out of their content.
That's also
So
Friendly. That's Friendly Jordies too. Although Friendly Jordies is like, I have to admit, he was a former.
But it's exactly Friendly Jordies. Like Friendly Jordies is just a fucking like Labor guy. Like when Labor guys love Friendly Jordies because they can turn him on and go, oh fuck, that's me, that's my friend.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
We look like that. We sound like that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
when is Friendly Jordies going to actually, talk about the elephant in the room? That's what. If you look at his comment section, which is the digital ID stuff that, no, when is he going to do that? His entire comment section is just full of that. Like,
yeah.
Do you think he'll address it, or he'll just leave it?
Well, he's never addressed immigration in a meaningful way, and I noticed some of his guys get pretty like. Because there's so many Labor right guys, like outer Labor right people who follow him. I don't know. I mean, I think his issue is going to be like who's going to pay him, like who's actually paying his bills. Like, I don't know if it's
that's the kind of feeling. Do you think he's being paid by the Labor Party still? Do you think that's still a thing?
I don't think he is now. I really don't think he is now.
I think he's probably got enough subscribers now.
FaZe just said he looked at digital ID today, so I haven't seen it. But...
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the right wing Abby Chatfield? Like. It's all just Sky News and News Corp. We
have Selena. We have Selena now. Selena's our strongest soldier. Ozpill and I made her in a lab. We've been working on her for 5 years, just mixing DNA.
We've got two rising stars. We've got the Two Worlds Collide podcast. Sam Bamford, who's a former veteran of. Yep, he's grown to 100-something thousand followers in the space of 3 months.
Yeah,
the problem is Choco, who's grown to 156,000 followers in just a couple of months as well.
Okay,
and I've been there for 10 years. I only just hit 140,000, but I don't consider myself. I consider myself more traditional left. That's kind of like where I want to be at, even though it's not. It's actually complete BS, really. But
do you mean
those two are the rising stars, I think, in the right-wing community.
I only saw Choco for the first time today.
Yeah, me too. I only saw that for the
They're
first
becoming relevant right now. This is their ascension moment. This is this is their time. I'll be surprised if they don't.
I reckon Ozpill. It's probably Ozpill for at least Zoomers.
He does short form stuff on TikTok though. So I don't know,
it's hard.
But I mean, the thing is, but he's done really he's been on Elijah Schaffer and he's been on some big name US podcasts and shit. So, I don't know. I mean, someone will come along. Something.
I reckon.
I don't like Sam Bamford. I just don't think he's that based. He's got that.
I've never watched Sam, but
what about the boys? What are they? Are they still kicking along? Are they?
Who?
The ones at Hassan Piker platform, the Australian.
Oh, the lefties. Oh, yeah, they're still huge. They're fucking crazy.
They're massive. Who's supporting them? I don't understand.
It's mainly Americans. It's mainly Americans. It's not really Australians.
Yeah.
It's not Australians.
They're mainly Americans. Friendly Jordies is interesting because he, especially since the firebombing, his audience is increasingly American because Hassan's been chilling him, but he still does mainly Australian content. I
suspect you can pay Hassan to shill you. Maybe you should take some of your ex-Gibbs and just give... Nick Adams is the right-wing Abby Chatfield. I can see that.
That's true. Yeah. Karuz brothers are right-leaning in their comedy. That's a good point, actually. What do you think about the idea that there's no
what's
future?
What's his name? Butterfield.
Isaac Butterfield. Yeah, fuck, he's cringe, though. That's the kind of right-winger your mum watches.
I think he's been popular for a while.
I think he's 10 years out of date, though, a bit.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to be on the cutting edge.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean.
Amos Gill, who's on the rise right now. He's doing Joe Rogan-esque. He's doing, Jim Jeffries. He's got.
I'm not trying to be mean to. I don't want to be mean to Isaac Butterfield, but he was huge 10, 15 years ago, right? When we were kids.
What we really need. I mean, everyone says who's going to be the next Australian Joe Rogan? We need an Australian come town. That's what we need.
That's true.
We also need an Australian Red Scare so that they can go full fash and I can date them. That's what we really need. Which I believe is going to happen to Abby Chatfield. Abby's going to have her wallet stolen. If she'll just leave her purse somewhere, I'm going to snatch her wallet.
I don't know about...
And then she's going to go right wing.
You can't say Avi because the only problem with Avi is like Joe Rogan clearly has an issue with what's happening in Israel. Like he's two ways about it, and Avi is like the man of Israel right now. So like it doesn't really work.
What happens if Israel loses the war? Does Avi just disappear? Like, what happens?
He gets sent back to Israel.
Yeah, it's punishment. Well, I mean, shouldn't they send him back? Because, I mean, the whole reason Avi is out here is to get young Australians to stop the Prime Minister recognizing Palestine. Like,
no,
Avi has failed. Avi has failed in his most fundamental job. Like, he should be sent home. Rakshan just said he moves to Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Everyone's being mean.
I honestly think that Albanese acknowledging Palestine though is an Israeli, like that's what Israel wants. Because if you think about think about this, right? Netanyahu announced that they want to take over the area, right? So it's quite clear they're going to go in there, establish themselves, build up a whole system, one of the most intelligent, intelligence agencies in the world, and then what? I think the Palestinian Authority.
I think that's 5D chess. That's
fine. I think realistically, look, they did so well against Hezbollah and Iran. Their intelligence was amazing. I think in Gaza, it's not been at that standard. I think they're kind of just.
But how? How's that possible? It's literally in their neighborhood.
It's because prior to the war, they put all their resources into Hezbollah and Iran because they thought Hamas was not. They didn't take Hamas seriously. So I genuinely think they've kind of just like. They've just sort of stuck in the morass in Gaza a bit. And I think they don't really have a way forward. Jeremy Buckingham is the Joe Rogan of Australia. And then someone says, when is Ozpil going to marry Abby Chatfield?
No, he's not. Jeremy's got his thing on I think it's Channel 9 soon. He's doing like because like
is he?
Jeremy's super into unsolved murders on Mid-North Coast. And so he's taking a break from like chuffing a million cones and being an MP to go and do some content up on the North Coast talking about
sensational.
Murders. Yeah, which is really cool.
So interesting. That is actually really cool.
And if you're watching, let me shill my 2 appearances on Jeremy Buckingham's podcast.
Yeah, they were great shows.
Yeah, he's a lot, and he is. I've done a lot of podcasts in the last year, and he is the most fun guy to do a podcast with.
That makes me sad, John. I thought we were doing pretty well, but no.
Okay, well, you're fun too, but like it's a different vibe. Like you and I aren't sitting in a studio and sinking like 20 beers. Like that's why it's fun. That's why it's fun because you're not sitting in your own kitchen.
Guys, we have to discuss Hannah Ferguson. Hannah Ferguson, I think, is the worst of all of the left wing.
Who's Hannah?
Agreed. Totally agreed.
She's just so boring.
I'm actually googling her right now.
She's literally the most boring. She's the epitome of like. I don't know how to describe it. She's
just so boring.
Like she's like white toast. She's like white toast with no like.
Jordan Knight did a funny post about like these are the people who don't want you to go to that August 31 protest, and then he took it back. And
this is Hannah Ferguson, and it's just so like. Dude, it's millennial cringe. Everything is fucked.
This is private school white girl. This is what this is. Private school white girl. That's exactly
everything is fucked. Like, imagine calling your show "Everything is fucked" and you think it's funny because you use the F word. Like, this is what we're dealing with. God. This is what
makes my.
It's so boring. And she was recently shilling literally vibrators. And I just like
really. Oh no, I do know who she is now. I know who she is now. Yeah.
It literally makes me want to kill myself.
She was on the SBS debate with Joel and all those guys when they did the
yeah.
Did you watch the SBS debate?
I'm just looking at it now. Yeah.
Whenever anybody issued even like the slightest conservative opinion, she'd be like, "How dare you?"
Is she the one who wants to start her own political party? Is this
yes? She said she's going to run at the next election.
Everything is fucked. I love it when they say everything is fucked, like, and they're cheeky, but they have to put the star in. Like, you can't just say fuck. Like, that's edgy.
I want to find where's she, because she runs Cheek Media.
Yeah, that sounds like one of those media companies.
That's a propaganda machine.
That a girl starts with.
Like this is what I'm talking, John. This is what I'm dealing with. We're dealing with. She's literally shilling vibrators, and I said this right.
Does that go in your butt? Is that like what the fuck is that?
All I'm saying is this, right? If
it's all well and good for left-wing progressive women to shill vibrators in Australian politics. But if Barnaby Jones came out and said, here's my animatronic 3000 sex doll, the media everything would be over. It would be over.
She seems interesting. I'm going to watch some of this and make a decision. Maybe she'll be my next Abby Chatfield fascination.
She's just really boring.
Because I'm a chauvinist. I don't take them seriously. I enjoy their content for its artfulness. Like I like it when women have kind of fun, stupid opinions. Like
no, John.
I'm not one of those right wingers that wants a trad wife. I want one who's a cooker. And
John,
but I don't take their opinions seriously.
Look how boring this opinion is. Imagine if the Australian media dedicated the same coverage to Erin Patterson to Israel's genocide against Palestinians. Like she thinks.
Well, did Israel kill any of the Palestinians with a mushroom? Like maybe if they used mushrooms, we'd pay them some attention.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's just that the Australian media is covering an Australian thing more than Israel Palestine. Why is she fucking obsessed? It's just.
I mean, a lot of other countries are covering it because a lot of other countries are boring. Our country doesn't have any genocides currently going on, so we're covering the only genocide going on. Like, jeez.
I just
it's one genocide. We've destroyed
I think it's a brutal war, but
I mean, this is the problem is with a lot of these women. Like, remember, they're not on.
Why is she shilling this? Why is she shilling this? And she thinks she can.
I want to know how it works. I mean, I don't know much about female anatomy. I've never seen a woman's vagina before, so I have no idea where that goes. Like, where does the bits go? Like, what the?
It's just
plant-based. It's plant-based.
Just
maybe it's a plant-based.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
Do we hear this?
Okay, watch this.
Can't hear it.
So wait, so the small bit goes right, okay, and the big bit goes on the outside.
First ever.
Or does the big bit go in, and then the little bit goes in her butt? Like this is the trans. He's telling me. Yeah, okay.
God damn, dude.
Who designed it?
This is dystopian right now.
She's drop shipping them.
She's drop shipping them to you from.
You should buy one, Drew, just to test
there's
it
probably
out.
There's probably some Uyghur, some poor fucking Uyghur dude throwing himself into a suicide net because he's making Hannah Ferguson.
They're doing Uyghur slave labor. They're doing Uyghur slave labor for Abby's fucking Abby Chatfield, Hannah Ferguson. Orgasm. Oh my god.
She seems great. It's got an orgasm guarantee. I'm gonna put that on my Hinge profile.
They're putting Uyghur slaves. They're using Uyghur slaves for Hannah Ferguson's dropship vibrator, and that's the state of Australian progressivism.
I love how chaste your chat is getting, Drew. Like they're going, "Oh, Drew, please, you can't stop talking about vibrators." It's time for you to come.
Just imagine for a second Barnaby Joyce talking like this.
The thing I find fascinating is that they do this shit and they're the same ones who get shitty on on the fucking 60 Minutes or whatever and say, oh, young boys are watching too much porn. Like, you know, we have a sexualization crisis with kids, and then they're like, but this is fine. When I sell a dildo, like it's fine.
Yeah. And she's like, dude,
yeah.
What I don't like about it, right, is the media patronage she gets. And you might think that's hypocritical of me because I got a lot of media patronage back in my day when I was getting expelled from the.
Imagine if you had have sold dildos.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Imagine, dude. Imagine 21-year-old Drew, right after I'm getting expelled from the University of Queensland, and I just go on Sky News and just be like, "Thanks for having me on, Andrew Bolt. Thanks, Andrew. And by the way, buy the fucking dildo." It wouldn't happen.
Buy the
dildo. It wouldn't fucking happen. It wouldn't fucking happen.
Avi Yemeni's doing like his little sponsorship at the beginning, trying to tell people to buy Drew Pavlik. I can see this, man. We're onto a moneymaker here. Like the Drew. What was the joke? Was it in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels where they do the scam where they put the ad for dildos in the back of the magazine and it's called like the Butt Destroyer 9000 or something? Like that's what you do.
No, because imagine right after I was on 60 Minutes back in 2020. Imagine I just pinned at the top of my Twitter profile, go to fucking buy the dildos. That would have been unacceptable. But Hannah Ferguson shill them for some reason, and then she's still invited to the Australian Press Club. Where's my press club appearance? They're never inviting me in a million years, John, because I don't have the right leftist opinions.
Hey, Brian just called me swarthy. Like that's not cool, man.
That's not cool,
I bet I'm whiter than you. Has he got a marble statue PFP? I bet he's probably an Indian. I'm gonna
Wait, look, one last Hannah Ferguson thing. Because I just need to show, like, John, you have to understand how bad this is. Like,
I'm browsing as well. I can't screen share, but I'm into her. I'm liking what she's putting down. I'm gonna get.
It's horrible.
I'm gonna go on a deep dive on her tonight, and tomorrow on Twitter, I'm gonna be simping for her like I do for Abby Chatfield.
What's her engagement like? Just out of curiosity, what kind of likes does she get?
Crazy likes. Like, she's got 100,000 on her personal, and then 190 on her main page, and then everyone's like 10,000, 5,000, 5,000, 20,000 in March.
That's a power horse.
Great
right
numbers.
There.
She's killing it, and dude, it just kills me because it's like, you know what? There was actually like a right winger on Twitter who said like the problem is that Drew's on Twitter and he's not doing Instagram and TikTok where everybody.
Dude, it is 100% true, man. It's 100%.
I literally started making videos on TikTok and Instagram literally because
I've seen that. It's been good.
And,
It's good to have you around, Drew, because like literally I have no. Where have you been, mate? We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting.
I've been on Twitter. I've been on Twitter because I've been getting paid $2,000 a fortnight from Twitter. So like I've got to I can't give up.
Whatever you do on Twitter, just do it on.
Because you just post. Yeah. It's just his post money. Like I have like a quarter of Drew's followers, and I get like a few $100 a month. Like you actually make a fair bit of money out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I was putting all my eggs in the Twitter basket. But I saw that post and it was a good point. Like I've got to be on TikTok and Instagram because unfortunately that's where Australians are. No one's on Twitter in Australia.
Elon keeps promising it's going to be the everyday app. Like it's not going to happen. I'm just too old to do another app now. I can't.
Dude, I would love that. If Elon somehow made it the everything app, that'd be great because I've got followers there. But unfortunately, no one's on it and I'm getting killed. And we can't let
you meet girls on there too.
Instagram. The beauty about Instagram and TikTok, Drew, if you just put your head down for literally like 2 to 3 months, you'd get easy to 100K followers. You just have to just put your head down.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it because we can't let like Abby Chatfield be like we can't let Abby Chatfield and Hannah Ferguson dominate Instagram and TikTok. That's horrible.
There's only three traditional right wingers with over 100K followers, and the rest are all lefties. That's the
story. So who are the three?
Right now, it's Big Choco, 150. I'm not sure Ozpil has on Instagram. I've got 140 something, 150,000 close to, and then Sam Bamford now. And these other two literally have come, so I've been around for 10 years. These other two have come up in the last 3 months out of nowhere. I think ever since Trump won the election, these guys have just powered through, and they literally have just come like they're like magicians who've just popped up. Right. So now I'm kind of waiting for you, Drew. I'm waiting for others to kind of pop up as well because it's literally just been the loneliest kind of space ever, and I've just been dominating the scene.
I'm gonna try it out because it's killing me. Like the fact that you go on Instagram and stuff like that, and just all this like look at how bad the Batuta has gotten.
Batuta shocking.
Batuta's shocking. Let me put that back on. Let me put Batuta back on. Batuta's fucking killing me lately.
Yeah,
but they have been like that for a few years now, to be honest.
Yeah, true. But I swear they've got a more lefty though. I swear.
Oh yeah. They're 100% left now. But
like, how annoying is this shit? Like, it's not even funny. Like, News Corp, like, fuck
Hamas Benezi.
Like, it's not even fucking funny.
I'll send you all the stuff. Yeah, so Sam's now on 119,000. He's done that in literally a month and a half. He grew about 70,000 followers. Yeah, it's insane.
So what was he on?
Well, I only kind of...
that tool one looks like it's about me. What's that?
Wait, which one?
Intellectual longing for a tool tour now forced to.
But yeah, that definitely.
See, that's not even that good. You could do better.
Look, they sometimes have okay stuff, but then like it just like, and then it just shit like just picky on.
Dude, Big Choco just hit 175,000. Last week was 140,000.
Wow, that's
Big Choco is saying don't go to the protest. That's the first video of his I've seen.
Same. Or I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying I think it's a government psyop. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Ozpil's on about 76,000 at the moment followers.
On Instagram or TikTok?
On Instagram.
Wow, yeah. No, I'm gonna put a lot more.
Instagram is kind of the play. TikTok's great for just quick reach, but the only problem is it's not taken as seriously. Like your views aren't worth as much. Instagram is kind of the premium of Australia. I'm talking about Australia right now. Australia loves Instagram. TikTok's if you want to kind of reach that crowd where you want to get a message out quickly, and everyone will kind of like Freya. Like she doesn't have many followers, but everyone in Australia knows who Freya is because of TikTok.
Freya Leach.
Yeah, like everyone knows Freya. Everyone knows Freya because of her TikTok. Even
Really?
though she has.
Do you reckon everyone in Australia knows Freya?
Oh yeah, because think about it. She got into stardom through TikTok, and then you got the Abbys and the Hannahs who went after her relentlessly. So you got Abby and Hannah to thank for Freya's growth, and that's why Freya has a TV show now.
Drew, maybe you need to get Abby to go after you. You need
I gotta pick a fight with Abby.
Well, she blocked me. I did one video about her. This is my second video, and she blocked me. So it's done.
You know what's funny? They had one single good post, and then the comments are just like, "How dare you?"
I'm gonna go on Instagram. I'm gonna get Purple Pingers to play guitar while I'll write a song about Abby Chatfield. I'll serenade her.
Purple Pingers has blocked me too. Actually, he's gotten pretty big on Instagram and TikTok.
He refuses to block me. He just never blocks me, and he every time I tweet at him, he engages, and it's the funniest post. Like we have great banter. I love Purple Pingers. I think he's good value. Like obviously,
I hate him so much. I hate him, man.
I'm deporting him last.
50,000 on TikTok, which is pretty big.
Yeah, but you know what's the funny thing is? I had 47,000 like 2 years ago, and it was just like frozen.
Okay. Honestly, my best advice to you after being in the game for 10 years now is do your Instagram. Get your Instagram going, and use TikTok as like a blanket like grenade to just blow up stuff and just like get things going.
No, I agree because you know what? One thing that's killed me. I've been trying to get my YouTube going up, and that's the one I really want to get up because, like, YouTube's the one.
YouTube's the most important because YouTube will be your money maker. Like Asmongold, $10 to $20 million a month now, just YouTube.
Oh fucking hell, man!
So if you want to make, and he is now the biggest political commentator in the world, Asmongold, and
that's crazy.
He could retire today, but he wants to stream for the rest of his life. Like he's made that very clear. He said he's going to die on stream, and he's going to be rolling in billions and billions of dollars if he keeps this up. So. YouTube is the hardest though. It is the hardest because it takes about 10 years. It will take. It took Mr. Beast 10 years.
Dude, I don't get it
10 years.
Right, okay. Because dude,
you should just play Hearts of Iron, like just do streams.
Yeah, true. You know what killed me, man? I'll literally post the exact same video to Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and like every other platform but YouTube will do well.
YouTube is literally it's 1,000 cuts. You got to just keep going and going. You never give
it's
up,
actually hard.
No matter what, it's literally torture, mental torture, and eventually
it is really hard. Yeah,
it's the 100K mark, bang, and then the million mark. That's another level. You know what blew up Asmongold? Everyone in the chats, what Asmongold? Asmongold blew up simply by commentating the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trials. Something as simple as that. That's how most people found it. Was literally just by doing something simple as that, Drew. So, that's actually his shoot into like mainstream was through Johnny Depp, essentially.
That's crazy. That's
going to take an event.
Are you doing George? Are you doing yours full time? Are you trying to do your media stuff full time?
Look, I've always just been doing it because I was basically first in, first out. I started in 2013. Instagram, we're like basically even before the Americans are doing it with Instagram. But YouTube, I only just started when I turned 30. So I literally just turned like in my 30s now. And I was like, okay, I just spent 10 years doing Instagram. I found success. I built my entire career around Instagram. It's given me everything I needed, financially speaking. Now it's time to do YouTube and get to the next level of where my journey's at. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. No.
Twitter, my failure is Twitter. I don't even know how to begin with Twitter. That's my issue. So
Twitter, I just shit posted. I just got so lucky that it just all kind of collided. I did all my China stuff. It was just crazy. But I really want to get into the other platforms, especially YouTube, man, because like that's where you can literally really make a living.
Yeah. But even Instagram, if you set up your Instagram correctly, but you seem like you've got your job sorted. I don't know like how far you want to go with this because having that legal background gives you such an edge as well. That's true. Look, I do want to keep studying my law degree, but I have to say though, like if you could do what Asmongold does, like literally make $1 million a year just chatting shit, like anyone would want to do that, right? So no, he's like 20 million a month, dude. A month.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. That's insane.
He turned off his Twitch because he was making so much, and his Twitch alone, he did one stream on Kick and it got like $40,000 in like one 6-hour stream.
That's crazy, man. That's fucking mental.
It's bonkers. But that's the level we're dealing at. I think live streaming and is the new form of of medium for everyone. And you'll see the next election. I'm talking about the American elections. Live streaming will be the new podcast. So instead of presidents, and you saw that President Trump did a live stream with Aiden Ross.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
and with what's his name, Barron Trump. Barron Trump's got his finger on the pulse of all this stuff. He's going to implement these strategies across the Republican Party moving forward. And the left now was Zohar Mandani. He is the new Bernie Sanders, essentially. Yeah. And if you actually go through and stalk Zohar Mandani's YouTube channel, it's done insanely well. It is.
No, it is. It's so good. It's like literally a masterful. Like the way he uses short form is just fucking masterful.
Yeah, even just even all of it, dude. Like honestly, if I was the Australian, I'm call out to the Australian community. Go on those channels, implement what they do, and bring it to this country and make it better. Let's lift the standards of Australia. Honestly, it's time. Why not? Maybe
that would be good.
Maybe the social media guys
we have to build up Australian culture. That's one way we can help the country.
Yeah, through shit posting.
You know, I actually genuinely have this thing like you know, like John, you know, like the Robert Caro books.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, dude, imagine if we had biographies of that stature about, like, I don't know, like Sir Joe Bjelke-Peterson or something like that. Like, I was thinking about doing that. I was like, we need to have some good books like that in Australia.
Or we have Troy Bramston, right?
True. Look, we do have. Good
I was joking. He sucks.
But I'm just saying.
Hey guys, I got to run. I've got a thing to do in the morning, but it was fun coming on.
Thank you, John. Thank you. That was an excellent chat. It was very interesting.
Thank you, guys. That was a bunch of fun. We lost you, man. All right. Thank you, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, King. See you, brother. See you, mate.
It was cool seeing George too. All right. See you guys.
Yeah. See you, mate. Bye. I think George is back. Yeah, awesome. Man. No, honestly, good chats here. I think we've got to do our best, man, because it's really bad for the country if people like Abby Chatfield are just like brainwashing the next generation. It's really bad.
Yep. But do you know the problem is? This is essentially why this all happened in the first place. What happened was the conservative / right, I wouldn't even say we're right wing, like just the moderate left were being shut down in Australia. Like I always consider myself moderate left. Or like,
dude, that was me. I was in the Labor Party. I literally voted Labor, and they hate me because I said lower migration.
Well, my first cancellation was criticizing the Black Lives Matter protest. I went from being the darling of the left, literally like the most, everyone loved me in the city of Adelaide because I was like the party guy. I held all the clubs, to instantly the enemy of number one. And all I said was, you know what? Maybe we should just treat everyone equally and then try and work on that. And I associated being a Greek immigrant coming to Australia. Everyone hated that. They thought that was like the most racist take you could ever take. And maybe it was, whatever. But what that did was it kind of showed anyone else who had a slightly left moderate take, shut the fuck up, or you're going to get shut down. And that's why for years and years and years, the Drews of this world, the Georges, the Chocos, they never wanted to say anything to Australia because you say anything out of line, you get done. You lose your job, you lose your friends, you lose your, you won't be able to get a girl. Like it was that's what's happened. But after the pandemic, and now with just how much everything's accelerating through just poor government policy and all these things that are happening, it's finally happening. But the problem is, right now, all the best, like what's the difference between America and Australia in terms of the content creators? The content creators in America, they all work together. They are all friends. They all talk off camera. They all plan together. They all have strategies together. They work together. Australian content creators don't give a shit. They don't want to even, everyone hates each other. It's tall poppy syndrome.
That's true.
That's literally why no one wants, that's why we will never grow. If we don't, we need to, and that's why I'm happy because the Joels, myself, Choco, we're actually all talking for once.
Yeah, we've got to all talk.
Now
I agree. Yeah, we've all got to talk.
We've got to unite. And this is what Abby and like even the Labor, the Labor Party is great at this. The Labor Party might have some of the worst policies in the world, but you know what? They're united. They're strong. They have charisma. It's like a cult.
It's like a cult, right? Nobody questions it. For like Friendly Jordies is in a bit of a cult. Like you can't question anything.
Oh, yeah. But that's also a strong thing to have, also a weakness, because the thing is, if you know that if you say something out of line, you get cooked. Like what happened with that? What was that? That Islamic lady, she got cooked because she said one thing to support Palestine. The Labour Party were like,
Fatima Payment. That said, though, she's cooked herself. She is pretty cooked, but yeah.
I know, but the fact that Labour Party still stood by that and followed that policy, that shows strength. Even if it's not the right form of strength, it's
I get you there. That's true. I mean, it's like the solidarity within the caucus.
Yeah, and the Liberal Party, the Labor Party were always like you got to think like Labor Party is like mummy, Liberal Party is like daddy. You know, when you need a good talking to, where someone's going to actually say it how it is and kind of give you tough love, you go to the Liberal Party. If you want to feel safe, you want to feel secure, they'll protect you. You go to the Labor Party. But now what's happened is the Liberal Party is no longer dad anymore. The Liberal Party is pathetic cuckman who doesn't stand on
Liberal
any
Party
morals.
is nothing. Susan Ley is the most cringe shit in history. Like literally could not invent a more cringe leader. Yeah, it's the most cringe shit ever.
It's like I honestly think sometimes I wake up and go, is the Liberal Party trying to like detonate itself? Like are they
Yeah,
like,
well it basically, dude, they've got to get Hasty in within like a year or it's over. Basically, that's it.
And a new party needs to form, honestly. A party that has I'm not talking about some fringe cooker shit like One Nation or I need like a real liberal party, like almost like founding fathers of American style, competent leaders who come in, who run businesses, who know what they're talking about.
I reckon it could be Hasty. If Hasty could do it. That said though,
you think you can achieve it?
I reckon Hasty's like the one person in Parliament that I'd run through a fucking wall for. I reckon.
What's his relationship like with Antic? Do you know? Because Antic kind of controls the party. Right? Antic controls the party, so.
But they're on the same. I think they're on the same wing of the party. They're both on the conservative wing of the party.
As long as he's on, like right now, Antic is the key to the party. He holds the cards.
Someone said this. Someone said, "What good policies do the Libs have?" Yeah, that's the problem. None. Literally none right now. Right now, they have none.
They had one good policy and they fucked it up. You know, the idea of having like Australia should be an energy-rich resource country. And they screwed up the whole nuclear thing so badly. It's like they did it on purpose.
I would like to have the nuclear energy, but the way they campaigned on it was like they literally fucking destroyed it.
You know why? Because they focused too much on nuclear. It should just be we should have every form of energy: nuclear, coal, solar, all of it.
They should have just said legalize nuclear. Just legalize it and allow it potentially at some point.
Just let the free market decide. Like, let the free market decide. If someone wants to come in and build a nuclear power plant, spend their money, take the time to do it, then let the free market decide. You didn't have to make. I don't know. I feel like Dutton. Also, let's be honest. Optically, Dutton was disgusting.
Worst. Dude, he looked like Voldemort. Everyone jokes about this, but he did look like Voldemort. That's just unfortunate.
Dude, I was talking to a friend. She's an old Chinese lady. She's been a Liberal voter her whole life. And you know what she said to me? "Oh no, I'm not vote Dutton because he's ugly." That's literally what she said. I don't remember these words.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. That would have been like 2 or 3% of the Australian voting public, which actually is a big swing.
I reckon it's like 20%. I reckon 20% of Liberal voters.
That's a huge swing. It's a huge fucking swing. That's a huge fucking swing.
Like literally, it matters. And then you have this is what I'm getting intel from the Labor Party. Right? Is Peter Malinauskas, the Premier of South Australia, is being coached by Dan Andrews to take over the Labor Party eventually and become the prime. Yeah, have you seen Malinauskas?
He has good optics. He's a good-looking bloke who's very fit, and he actually speaks well. I reckon he's very charismatic compared to other politicians in Australia.
Yeah, the rumor is they're kind of mentoring him to be the next. They want him to be the next prime minister, like the Labor prime minister of Australia. That's their guy, and they have people like Dan Andrews and all these other guys who are kind of coaching them along the way.
I've heard of that. They do talk about him like that. He's got a big future in Australian politics. That guy.
But yeah, but the problem is he's slammed by this algae marine disaster South Australia's having at the moment. It's destroying him on every level because he let it go for 5 months, and now we have millions and millions of animals dead here, and it's just put such a hole in his.
I agree with FaZe on this one thing that the thing I like about Malinauskas is that like for a Labor politician, he's quite conservative because he's from the Catholic wing of the party.
Yeah, I think he's got Hungarian background.
Like he's not like one of the because there are people in the party that are like that have really socialist views. I don't think Malinauskas is like that.
But the only problem is because the fabric of Labor Party now has turned to this Hannah Ferguson, Abby Chatfield style of politics. He has to follow the line, or they
have to follow the line. Yeah, exactly. That's like Gavin Newsom, dude. You know that's exactly like Gavin Newsom. I think in Gavin Newsom's heart of hearts in California, in America, he's not like that. He's not like a woke leftist. But the party is there, and he has to follow where the party is. That's the sad thing.
It's exactly the same problem America has, and that's the thing. That's why I honestly don't see the Republican Party. I think will have power for the next 10 to 20 years. I don't see them losing.
I don't know about that necessarily, but
like, have you seen what the Republican Party are doing now? They're instilling basically evangelicalism into all aspects of government. They have it at the Pentagon now. They're creating a Christian nationalist society, and their whole plan is to build a foundational Christian.
The thing is, though, the thing is, though, like, it's one thing to talk about doing that. It's another thing to actually do it, because, like, America is I'm not sure whether you can do that from the top down in American society like that. Like, American culture is so, various, and it's such a huge country. I'm not sure if they can impose it from above like that.
You think it will collapse?
I don't know. Look, look, I've become a lot more conservative in recent months, but I still don't like Trump, and I just think it's because I think the problem is that to have a solid conservative movement that actually is successful, you have to avoid scaring the middle class, and I think he constantly scares the middle class with, like, he has these people aligned in his orbit and stuff like that, and they'll post really radical shit. And they'll specifically post about how proud they are of, like, wearing the balaclavas and deporting people and stuff like that. I think it freaks out middle class people.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And also, it's quite
like even Joe Rogan said that. Even Joe Rogan said that. He was like, Joe Rogan said, like, we should have a border, we should deport people, but don't do it the way you're doing it. And I think, honestly, like, a lot of people are like that. And I think it's a self-inflicted error that they make.
But you've seen that the Trump has. I mean, they haven't been posting the deporting numbers recently. I think they've kind of gone silent with the whole deportation thing. I think now they've shifted the laws to, like, they're only going to deport people who. This is what I saw. I think who mentioned this? They're only going to deport people who criticize Israel now. Is essentially the new policy.
I don't know if it's just that. I don't.
Have you seen that though?
It's pretty funny. Listen, you say deport Israel, but I think some of the people that they deported have been actual, like, hardcore radical Hamas supporters and stuff like that. I think.
Are you talking about that university student who was literally involved with a terrorist group?
Yeah. Listen, my thinking on this sort of thing is that I think Islamic extremists should be deported. But
yeah, what about here in Australia?
Yeah, of course,
because
deport any Islamic extremist.
I've been talking to a lot of people in intelligence, and they tell me that in Melbourne and Sydney in particular, the extremist Islamic community is growing, and it's also
it's true, 100%. That's true, and it's really bad. It's fucked up.
But that's the only thing. That you can't. Are we going to deport them back? Like, what's the go? I don't understand, because a lot of them have been here for generations as well. That's the crazy thing. Like, they haven't really assimilated.
I don't know. I genuinely think if you're a full-blown supporter of Islamic extremism, I don't really care if you've got the paperwork. I think you've just, like, fully rejected your country, and I just don't think you should be here.
So
that's probably my most radical opinion. And I understand it's not legally workable. I understand it'd be hard. You can't go through the courts but I'm just saying, like, if I had my perfect society, I wouldn't care if somebody was born in the country. If they are a supporter of ISIS, just kick them out.
Yeah. Just quickly, going back to the 31st of August, I kind of want to wrap up. I want to kind of wrap.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. Detail.
I want to wrap up more. I want to kind of give you the full picture, because I've got the intel, everything. So basically, where it was left was the kid didn't want to. The 18-year-old who started this whole thing, essentially, didn't realize what kind of beast he created. So he was like, I've had enough, because with the Beck freedoms of this world and their connections to the NSN, being, dating an NSN member,
that's fine.
Being caught on Twitter, inciting violence and saying, if push comes to shove, we got to kill, blah, blah, blah.
That's
it's basically, it's turned the situation sour. So what happened is all the politicians, they all got together, One Nation, all Liberals, Labor, whatever. They all got together and said, do we want to be associated with this thing? And they all said, no, not right now. And because these guys didn't post where their locations were, didn't apply for permits. You know what they were saying, dude? Get this. This is how freaking retarded it was. They were saying, for the protest, we got to do it at the airports, because that's where the immigrants come in.
That's the most fucking retarded thing I've
How
ever heard.
Brain dead is that?
That's fucking retarded.
We literally just brought in laws that if you, like, because, the airports...
That actually... Yeah, dude, that actually sounds like full like government sabotage of the rallies, like literally just a Fed in the group chat going like, guys, let's go to the airport. Like, that's the fucking worst idea in history.
Airports are essentially military zone now. You go to the airport, you get arrested immediately. Everyone gets arrested. It would literally be the biggest news story ever. They want to do an Australian Jan 6, get everyone arrested, fucking destroy everything. It's retarded. I don't want to do that. That's stupid. Another thing they said, you know what another thing they said? Because it took, the Palestinian movement, when they did the Sydney Harbour Bridge, right? They took them months and months to get that permit. Then they had to go to court and blah, blah, blah.
They went to court, all that,
It was a whole fiasco, right?
Yeah.
These guys, these NSN members were saying, all right, screw it. Let's just rock up to the Sydney Harbour Bridge, close it down with no permits. And
that's the most retarded. Dude, the police would fucking shoot them. The police would fucking shoot them. They're fucking retarded.
Dude, this is what I'm saying. These are the ideas these guys are putting forward. And no matter, I'm sitting down the sidelines like, what is this? What is going on?
Can you imagine if National Socialist Network, the Nazis, went to the Sydney Harbour Bridge and just tried to shut down peak hour traffic? Dude, do you understand how much Australians would hate them? Like, it would literally it would be 99% against them. It'd be like you'd have a poll and it'd be like 85% like literally list these guys as terrorists and kill them. That would be the polling. If they shut down the Sydney Harbour Bridge in peak hour traffic, it would literally be like 99% want to Tiananmen them and list them as terrorists.
Exactly. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I haven't endorsed this protest at all yet. I've talked about it. And I'm like, this, and like I'm conspiratorial in mind. I'm like, this has to be some sort of false flag psyop. Like government is trying to accelerate.
Dude, that does sound like it's like fellow patriots. Let's go to the fucking airport. Yeah, dude. I'm not.
Oh, is it just me? What happened? Okay, guys, I'm not sure where Drew went. I hope he comes back soon.
Sorry, I just cut out. Sorry,
okay, it's back. I was like, whoa. Anyways, yeah. So, of course, I'm going to put that theory. You know what happens as soon as I put that theory forward? When you get a chance, check out my video. Everyone's calling me a Zionist shill, saying I was corporately bought out, that we all coordinated this together. I was like, guys, me, Joel, Chucky, like we're all mates now.
Yeah,
we're going to talk. Like we're not like. And you, I'm hoping. I always tell Joel, I want Drew. Yeah. I want Drew part of this. You know, I want Drew to be.
I want to help.
You know, we're gonna talk.
I don't identify as a lefty anymore, so like I want to help, but yeah, that's the thing, dude. It does sound like a fucking psyop when it's like, yeah, fellow patriots, let's go to the fucking airport. Like, dude, it reminds me of Nick Fuentes. Remember Nick Fuentes at January 6th? I was like, everyone stormed the fucking Capitol, and then he doesn't get arrested, everyone else gets arrested. That's fucked. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Exactly. So I think that's why I kind of liked your video when you said I just want to be an observer right now.
I think that's what I think at this stage, like if the rally comes, I'm going to report on it as like a kind of journalist. Like I'll go there, interview some people, watch it. I'm not going to fucking speak at this point. I'm not going to fucking I would only speak if there's absolutely zero chance Nazis are around. I don't want to be involved with Nazis.
But the reality
is they will poison us forever. That's the problem.
But the problem is, Drew, there's always bad actors at protests. You go to any left-leaning protest, you'll always see there'll always be the Taliban there. There's always going to be Antifa crowd. If you go to a right-wing, you always find neo-Nazis. You'll always find, I don't know, like the white nationalists. It's just always a thing. It's unavoidable.
Look what they did. Look what they did to Moira Deeming, though.
Yeah.
They actually they almost destroyed her entire career. And so dude, you know when I was getting expelled from UQ back in the day, like the National Social Network, they went to UQ in the middle of the night with balaclavas on, and they're like, "Australia for the white man, we support Drew." And immediately UQ latched onto that to attack me further. And I said, fuck off. I don't want to have anything with these guys. And then they started going, oh, no, we hate Drew. Drew's not white anymore. We decided he's fucking Turkish. We're going to deport him because I told them to fuck off. This is what these guys are like. They're literally just trolls, dude. Like they'll latch onto anything. They're poison. They're just poison, dude.
Yeah, well, that's and it comes down again. Bad government makes bad symptoms. What's the symptoms of a bad government? Extremism on left and the right. Why do we have the Hannah Fergusons becoming celebrities? Why do we have these white nationalists taking control? Because bad government. It always comes down to the bad government. It will happen anywhere. And that's the thing. I think ultimately with this protest, my final take on it is, yes, be an observer. And at the end of the day, if 400,000 Australians show up all waving flags and they're there just for the right reasons because they want to be proud of this beautiful country, this amazing country that's having its problems right now. But if they want to go, and I'm telling anyone, Indians, Greeks, Italians, any background, if you want to go there and support Australia, go.
That'd be good. But I doubt it'd be like that.
But the problem is, without us knowing who the speakers are, you're going to have 400,000 people rock up, and then you're going to have some neo-Nazi Hitler reincarnated person come on the stage and do a speech. No politician's going to rock up.
I think at this stage, it's sadly more likely that you'd get a couple thousand people, and then you get like fucking Thomas Sewell there, and then they'll do their fucking Hitler salutes, and the media will then the media headline the night of will be big Nazi rally. Everyone who went there should be shot, and then the cause of patriotism is basically set back 30 years. That's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see that happen. I'd love, as you said, how good would it be if there were 400,000 people marching with big Australian banners everywhere? That'd be beautiful. That'd be a great thing for the country. That'd be amazing for the country.
And we've done it before. Like the Canberra protest was literally 250,000 people there. There wasn't not. I mean, I'm sure there was bad actors there. There's always bad actors, but those 250,000 people. That's an amazing sight. When have you ever heard that in the Australian history? 250,000 people come to Canberra just for one march. It's never happened before. But that's the biggest thing. The NSN criticism was, the freedom movement didn't do enough. That's their criticism. What
do they do? They just get fucking protest laws passed against them because they're fucking psychos. They don't do anything. They're literally.
And it's the same with what's it called? You saw what happened in South Australia, right? With the Extinction Rebellion, right? Did you see what happened here with that lady? No. Okay, so in 2023, a lady parasailed herself off a bridge in the middle of Adelaide, North Terrace, shut off the entire northern part of the city. That night, there was a guillotine parliament, and the South Australian government brought in new protest laws. If you get caught or you disrupt the public, $50,000 fine or 5 years up to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
And that happened in one day. That's one day.
That's all they've achieved, and like. Yeah, it's just a disaster, dude. It's just a disaster. They will justify more police repression. They will just poison everything. That's what they do. It's just such a disaster. Imagine how much better it'd be if you had 400,000 people marching with Australia banners.
And that's kind of And I want to say one take on this. I don't really agree on this accelerator approach.
No, I don't. It's retarded.
We don't need it because we have the UK, we have Canada, we have all these countries to.
Yeah, why would you want to go down what UK is going down? You want grooming gangs in like the UK? It's a fucking disaster.
We can literally, but my point is we can actually see the future. We don't need to do the thing. We can already portray what's about to happen and then work around it. Trying to push ourselves and accelerate it is the dumbest thing ever. And that's why I'm a bit annoyed about the Ozpil kind of movement. And that's the thing. There's three factions. It's Ozpil with the March for Australia thing. Then you've got Beck Freedom from NSN, and then you have
the actual NSN,
and then you have the Zionist movement who now want to make this a pro-Israel protest as well. Apparently, that's what I've heard. So three factions: the Nazis, the Jews, and the Ozpils.
look. I'm actually pretty pro-Israel, but I think it should just be an Australia rally, right? It's just what's funny. Nick Fuentes. I think Nick Fuentes is an idiot, but he had a really funny take on Joel Davis. He was I don't know if you've seen it, but he was like he was doing an impersonation of Joel Davis, and he was like, "Oi, I'll go get myself arrested." I don't know how to do it. It was like, "Oi, the Jews got me arrested. Yoi, oi. Now the Australian people will see that the Jew controls it all." Like he was just mocking that. Like it was just this retarded. Because Joel Davis, like, if you look at the Telegram, they literally say, like, our goal is to get arrested, then we will red pill all the Australian public about how the Jew controls the world. It's like, dude, no one, people just think you're weird. People just think it's psycho. So, like, Nick Fuentes, that was the one time Nick Fuentes was actually funny.
And the problem is, even if people do, like, the thing about Australians and most silent majority, even if people do generally have those, like, kind of anti-Semitic thoughts in their head, right? They're not gonna say it out loud. They're just gonna keep it internally. They never want to. There are so many people that have dark, evil thoughts. They'll never tell anyone. They'll go to the grave like that. So it's irrelevant. It's just ego farming at that point. It's just trying to be relevant. And that's honestly Nick Fuentes. I've heard of him before.
They're
attention seekers. And that's what this is honestly what this protest feels like. It feels like three factions trying to get the most attention. Who can have the biggest cock? Who can be the biggest ego and make it all about themselves? Because essentially, how did this protest even start? An 18-year-old kid from Adelaide who had a dream to make Australia better, that he missed the old Australia that he grew up in, and he wanted Australia to be a better place. And then what happened? Three factions, three dickheads come in and ruin for everyone. The first video that went viral wasn't about immigration. It was about everything. There were so many failing factors of Australia.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not saying mass immigration is not a problem. That's not my
It's a huge
argument
problem.
here.
It's a huge problem, but it's not the only thing in Australia.
It's not the only thing. It's a multi-pronged thing that Australia's dealing with. It's not just mass immigration. It needs to be in that line, because otherwise you're only going to attract the cookers. No moderate Australians going to come if it's only. I mean,
dude, we've literally got the cookers here. They got Greeks out of Australia. Like these, like, dude, people think you're fucking retarded. There are literally like ISIS extremists in Australia, and you're focusing on targeting Greeks. You're literally
we made your
retarded.
country, bro. Without the Greeks, you guys would be freaking living in like cardboard boxes, mate.
Nah, don't say that. Don't say that.
Who built all your buildings? Huh?
Nah, don't say that. Don't say that.
Who made all the chicken? With the fish and chip shops? Come on.
No. Don't go there. But like, I just think like, look. I'm just saying. I'm proud to be Australian. I'm part of the Australian majority that wants the law of migration. These people are like, oh wow, the Greeks out. Like, it's retarded. We have to focus on getting ISIS extremists out of our country, and you'll focus on targeting Greeks because they're not white arguing enough for you. That's fucking retarded.
Do you want to know where the NSN mindset comes from? I've kind of studied it a little bit. Do you know what it is? It's because this is what they believe is. Because in the 1960s, the global population, 33% of the population was white. All right. And when I say white, I mean not just Anglo, I mean Greek, Italians, French, whatever's considered white, right? Now it's 7%. So there is an objective natural fear beyond morality that, things are like, basically white people are being wiped out, essentially. That's the fear that they're coming from.
The problem is that I think birth rates are correlated to development, right? And obviously European countries, North America, and Western countries like Australia, we developed first. We had the lower birth rates first. Now the entire world is starting to see lower birth rates. I saw that Thailand has a way lower birth rate than us now, and Thailand is like not a developed country at all. So I think now there's going to be a global fertility crisis, and I think everywhere is going to start struggling with birth rates and everything. I think
South Korea, Japan.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a big part of it. I don't know, like to a certain degree, like the entire world now has these problems with fertility rates and stuff like that. So
besides Africa, Africa's gone buck wild at the moment.
Even they are going down. Even they
really? Africa. I thought Africa was going up.
I mean, they've still got high fertility rates, but even in those countries, it is on the decline. So,
you see it? Okay.
You could probably get to a point where within the next 30 years, not a single country has above replenishment fertility rates.
Wow.
We will probably get there in the next 30 years. Like if you just follow this current trend of development, even in sub-Saharan Africa, like dude, India is now below replenishment rate. Like India is still a pretty poor country. India's below, like it's now at the point where the population in India will now start declining because people aren't having enough children, and that's still a really poor country. So I think every country within the next
what's causing that? You think everyone's reached, but the only problem that makes me like kind of confused about that statement is, okay, if birth fertility rates going down is associated with people with better healthcare, better hygiene,
education,
better access to water, education.
Yeah.
But India hasn't fully reached its technological peak.
That's a good point. Yeah. Look.
So how does that correlate? I'm confused about that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, there's probably some. I think the worst case scenario, I think the scary case scenario would be if like microplastics and stuff like that in the environment, like because there have been studies showing that like microplastics like kill male sperm rates and stuff like that. I think worst case, I think that the disaster children of men type scenario is that like the reason why global fertility is crashing everywhere is because like everybody's got like poisonous microplastics in them and stuff like that. That's pretty fucking scary.
The new studies have shown that microplastics are in the air now as well. They're airborne, so that could be verifiable. But the thing is, the anti-vax crowd will tell you it's the mRNA. That's what they will say.
It's not mRNA. It's literally plastics. It's fucking microplastics and forever chemicals and shit like that. Which is, it's very hard to get rid of that because it's kind of involved in all industrial processes. So it's like there's this guy in the chat who said this. Like in third world countries, blood is probably like 50% plastic. Like, it's scary, man. It is actually scary. Like, I actually get scared sometimes when I was looking at the rates. Like, dude, can you imagine that, right? Like, Thailand has the birth rate in Thailand, which is still a poor country, is like 1. So, like, within a generation, their population is gonna like within a couple of generations, their population is halving. So, I think
that makes actually, you know what? That's actually a really good point because I mean, that would kind of make sense because a lot of third world countries they have terrible pollution problems with rubbish, plastics, and everything. You see it in the waters. If all their water is completely polluted with microplastics, all the foods they eat, everything like that, then yeah, you have a strong argument here. That could be could be what it is.
Do you know that What's News guy?
No, What's News?
He's like big on Twitter a little bit and a little bit on Instagram. He's kind of NSN affiliated. He was one of the guys who was saying that the rally should just be whites only and shit like that.
Oh,
anyway,
that guy. The ones that posted the Melbourne.
Yeah. And What's News he was literally saying like Rukshan shouldn't go and stuff. He's a little bit psycho. Like I remember I had a debate with him and he was telling me that the reason why the birth rates are going down is because of feminism. It's like, dude, you know, Iran has Iran's below replenishment rate. It's fucking Iran, dude. Like Iran women have very few rights. Like Iran's an interesting case because Iran has actually quite an educated female populace, but at the same time they have no civil or political rights really, and like they have below replenishment rates. So it's like it's like every dude. It's everywhere. Dude, let me show you this right now.
Yeah, show me because I'm just struggling to even picture this to be honest. Because
it's all about global fertility. There's an account that I followed where it's like it literally tracks the global fertility. Where is this?
I'm gonna find this account because this is
birth gauge. This is, I think tracking the global fertility decline. Birth gauge. The number of 0 to 4-year-olds in Turkey keeps on declining at a brisk pace. Dude, Turkey 1.3 women per year. We know replenishment is 2.1. Turkey's like substantially below. Turkey has a lower birth rate than white Australians.
What?
I'm pretty sure white Australians is like 1.4 or 1.5 maybe.
What is going on? What about China?
China's the worst. China's like 0.9 or 1.
Really? Greece?
China's God. China is right up there as one of the worst in the world. Although Taiwan
so who's got the best birth rates then right now in the world?
It's still sub-Saharan Africa, but they are in decline. So there are still some really dirt poor countries in Africa where it's like 5 women per children, but they've been declining from like 9 per children. 9. Yeah, okay, like for example, this is a good one. So Nigeria has a rate of 4.6, but it actually was a lot higher. It was like, it's gone down by like half.
Dude, look at Chinese birth rates. They're about to collapse.
This is scary.
That's actually
dude, look at this. This is scary as fuck. This is Seoul in Korea. Some of the inner city suburbs, 0.5, dude.
Holy dude, they're about to collapse as well. So South Korea's
they're
cooked.
All collapsing. Everything's
China's cooked. Dude. What about Japan?
Look at that. Japan's really bad. Not as bad as China now, though. It's interesting because for a long time, everyone was saying Japan was the worst in the world. But now, like, there are so many countries that have blown past Japan. And Japan's kind of stabilized a bit. Japan's like 1.3, I think, maybe. 1.3. Okay. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. So look at this. Below replacement fertility can have very different outcomes. With a total fertility rate of about 1, the third generation is only 1/4 the size of the third. With a total fertility rate of 1.7, as in Bulgaria, Romania, it's 3/4 the size. But that's the thing, though. In China, it's 1. In 3 generations, the population will be down 75%. That's fucking scary, dude. It's fucking scary.
What the fuck, dude? Okay, I need to do something about. I mean, not me. I mean, I'm going to do anything about
this. This is why Elon's obsessed with it. I actually think it is scary, though. I think it is genuinely kind of a bit like Children of Men.
Yeah, well, Elon did bang on about this a bit, and he kind of didn't get the. I guess he could have brought a bit of attention to it, but I think. Do you think it's kind of a situation where people are just kind of burying their heads in the sand because it's too much of a harsh reality to deal with?
I don't know. I think for a long time everyone's been saying that this is really something to do with economics and changing cultural attitudes and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe it will get to a point.
Everyone says cost of living. That's why.
Yeah, but maybe it will get to the point where like people are like, oh shit, it's actually microplastics. I'm scared of that. That's the worst case scenario, I think.
Honestly, I kind of agree with you, to be honest.
Russia's a disaster.
What about in your own life? How are you avoiding the microplastics? Are you doing anything personally?
Dude, I don't do enough really. And listen, the thing is, I don't really know if there's anything people can do as individuals. It's like because the thing is, it's even in the air you breathe. It's like everywhere.
Yeah, it's in the air you breathe.
Particles, yeah.
But you don't. Do you microwave plastics in your, do you have a plastic container in the microwave? Do you do that stuff still?
I mean, I try. I try not to do stuff like that. But Even I don't know whether that's actually going to make a difference. Is that just marginal?
Apparently it does because it's your direct primary contact.
But you're still getting particles in your. So this is Melbourne, dude. Look at this, right? So, dude, look at this. This inner city parts of Melbourne, 0.6.
Oh my
Dude,
god. What about Sydney?
Oh my god, the inner city Sydney, 0.8.
Okay, that's interesting because you look at the rural areas, they obviously probably use less plastic stuff potentially.
No, it's not even. No, dude, it's not that. It's the rural areas are poorer and it has more immigrants, so that's why they're still higher. That's why it's Because think about it, right? Like the outer suburbs of Sydney is mainly immigrants, so that they still have higher birth rates. But I think it is all going down, though. It is all going down. Look at Perth. In some of these inner city suburbs in Perth, it's 0.7.
Wow.
Holy shit, Brisbane 1.3 in the inner city.
Yeah, so there's definitely a correlation between. Oh my god, look at South Australia, 1.5, the whole bloody state. Oh, 1.39 Victoria. Damn.
I want to see what Adelaide's is. Do they have Adelaide? Hang on.
I want to know. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Imagine we just.
Adelaide. Okay, Adelaide.
0.62
in the city. Yeah, that's fun. But everywhere's below.
Yeah, that's bad.
So, look, I don't think it's full children of men yet, because like you still have poorer migrant families still overall have a higher birth rate and stuff like that. But it's going down everywhere. The crazy thing
this is what we should be protesting about. Honestly, this is probably more important than anything else.
True, but I don't.
Honestly, this is probably the biggest issue.
Yeah, probably, but I don't know how to stop it though.
On a macro level, dude, honestly, this is like extinction level.
Yeah, no, on a macro level, you're right. This is actually extinction level. This is the most important thing.
If I told you tomorrow, if I snap my fingers, 75% of the population's gone, wouldn't you be freaking the fuck out?
I know it is scary, but I don't know how to fix this though. I don't know what to do. Like
a lot of people are saying women have rejected motherhood for career for decades now, but that's only Western countries.
But dude, why is that happening in why is that happening in Thailand? Why is that happening in Iran? Right? Like everywhere. It's literally everywhere.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I used to think that. I used to believe what that guy said, but now after seeing this, it's kind of changing my mind a bit, to be honest.
This is the US.
Shit. Also, poor foods, sunscreen. Like you just see sunscreen.
It's all these different things.
Fuck. What are we gonna do, Drew, mate?
It's scary,
And then get this right. I'm not sure if your viewers know this, but Australia has the highest rates of cancer in the world for under 50.
Right. Yeah.
We have the highest rates of colon cancer and bowel cancer now for under 40.
I didn't know that.
Australia.
Fuck. Right.
Yeah, and they think it's because of sunscreen, because we used so much sunscreen as kids that it was leaching into our blood and stuff. Because they've apparently there's all these lawsuits now. Sunscreen companies getting sued millions and millions of dollars because they were using these chemicals that were really bad for really carcinogenic, basically.
Dude, Russia.
And the pill, the female pill, is being classified now. It's just recently changed to the same classification as asbestos.
I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah. Look at it. It's crazy.
That's true. Dude, look at this. Russia's fucked.
Russia,
and Russia is a still poor country. 30% of the population in Russia don't have sewage. And
really,
and they've lost a lot of young men in Ukraine. And you look at this and it's fucked. Honestly, man, it's every country and it's fucking scary.
Before I let you go, can you? I need to head off soon because I gotta.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
What can I ask you the Ukraine-Russia thing? Why, obviously, Russian being Orthodox, you kind of with the Orthodox. Why choose Russia over Ukraine?
Ukraine's Orthodox.
Is Ukraine? I thought Orthodox was being banned across the Ukraine. That's what I heard.
Dude, that's a lot of Russian propaganda. Look, I was in Kiev in March, and I went to Orthodox churches there.
And they're still all right?
Yeah, dude, it's all right. So what it is there's one particular denomination of Orthodox, which was literally controlled by the Russian government in Moscow. And it was the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine. And it was 3% of the population. And the priests were literally KGB trained, and they were literally calling in airstrikes and stuff like that on Ukrainian positions. That's why they banned it. But they're still but Christianity in Ukraine is everywhere. You can walk into into a church in any street. There are more churches in Ukraine than in Australia, way more. And
Oh,
people are
okay,
way
so
more
it's-
religious.
this-
People
so
are way
there's
more
still
religious there. People are way
And
more
then-
religious in Ukraine than in
Okay.
Australia.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, because
it's
that's kind of I must have fallen for that propaganda because I was told by people that the Zelensky basically banned orthodoxy in the Ukraine.
Nah,
was
it's
destroying all
not
the
like
churches.
that. There was a denomination of the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine that was 3% of the population. Before the war, it had 7% of the population. Then after the war started, half the followers switched over to the Ukrainian Orthodox Church because it was so clear. Like some of the Russian Orthodox priests in Ukraine literally endorsed Russia's invasion of the country. So half the population, half the denomination, 3% were hardcore Russian supporters, and no country would support. It's like having Islamic extremists. Like, imagine if Australia was having terrorist attacks, Islamic extremists every single day. Would you let the Islamic extremists hate mosques still operate in your country? You'd shut it down. And that doesn't mean you've got to shut down. That doesn't mean you've got to ban Islam in the country. There'd still be moderate mosques and stuff like that, but you'd shut down the extreme ones. And that's basically what they did when it came to the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine. And
that makes sense.
There was a big split within the Orthodox Church over Ukraine. So the Greek Orthodox Church sided with Ukraine, and then the Russian Orthodox Church basically has gone off in its own direction. And the Russian Orthodox, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, Kirill, was literally KGB operative in the 80s. So like, it's a pretty fucked up thing. Like, they literally have Russian Orthodox priests bless nuclear missiles in Russia. It's pretty demonic. It's fucked up. So
what?
Honestly,
so you think the Russian Orthodox are, because they still have their monastery in Mount Athos, right? You do know about Mount Athos in Greece?
Yeah, Mount Athos is Greek Orthodox, not Russian Orthodox.
Yeah, but the Russian Orthodox, their main monastery is in Mount Athos. And same with the Serbians. The Serbians also have their main monastery in
look. There's obviously still links between the churches, but the actual official Russian Orthodox Church has been in schism with the official Greek Orthodox Church. The Patriarch of Constantinople, they split with Kirill over the issue of Ukraine a couple of years ago, even before the war. Listen. I went into multiple Orthodox churches in Ukraine, and it's like Christianity is more strong in Ukraine. Like Ukraine is more anti-woke and more Christian than Australia and a lot of Western countries. So
okay,
I'm
only asking these questions because I haven't had the opportunity to ask anyone these questions yet because we don't have much chatter about this in Adelaide.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, you should check out my YouTube video on this subject. Dobra, I'll show you this really quickly because I know we've got to go because I'm quite tired.
Yeah, show me
I'll
the
show you
video
this really quickly. So I went to Dobropilia, and it's really sad. This town in Ukraine, it might fall right now. The Russians broke through the lines just recently, which is so sad because I was literally in this town 3-4 months ago, and it could fall into Russian occupation. But I'll quickly show you this really quick. So I saw the aftermath of a Russian missile strike on a tenement block. Basically, I was there one day after it happened, and they were it was a really horrific massacre. See the cluster munitions. People like you and I. So this was literally like one day after it happened, and I want to show you the Christian icons that I saw. Hang on. That's genocide.
Makes the point. Well, this isn't.
Oh god, somebody lived here. Because we literally walked through the apartments that were just incinerated, and we walked through one day after it happened, 2 days after it happened.
What was that like for you?
Oh man, it was something that I'll never forget in my entire life, and it just highlighted for me.
What prompted you to even go there? Like, what was that?
I've just supported Ukraine so much since the start of the invasion because I saw that China was supporting Russia in the invasion, and I just realized that this is basically Russia, China allied together with Iran against the West. And honestly, if you support the West, that's how I see it, right? And it's sad because I don't understand. Like, there are people like Tucker Carlson, right, who are like really anti-CCP, but then for some reason they're pro-Russia, and it just does not make sense because Russia and China are joined together at the hip right now. I might not be able to find it right now, but basically what I wanted to show you was that in a lot of these apartments, see, like that, right? Like, this is that, like, I went through these apartments, right, and there were Orthodox icons in all these apartments that were just completely destroyed by Russian missiles. And then I see online people say that, like, oh, Zelensky is the one who's attacking Christianity in Ukraine. And it's like, dude, I walked through the apartments of just like ordinary Christians in Ukraine who had Christian icons in their walls, and they were all incinerated by Russian missiles. It's not Zelensky that's attacking this. So that's what I saw, right? And listen, man, have a look. If you get some time later, check out the video.
I would love to do an episode one day with you where we chat and we kind of have like this wholesome, where I've got a lot of questions I hear from my community, and I think I haven't had the opportunity to ask someone like you these questions, and
this is the thing, right?
Important.
Let me just before we end, I'll say this, right? I think what happened is there's all these people who are really distrustful of Western governments because of obviously the COVID lockdowns and all the terrible stuff that's been happening in Britain and all this stuff. Obviously, it's understandable why people don't trust our governments and don't like our governments. But the thing is, at the end of the day, do you define the West as like Keir Starmer and Anthony Albanese, or do you define the Western world as our actual civilization, our culture? It goes beyond our politicians. It goes beyond whoever is occupying number 10 or occupies the lodge. It goes beyond that. It's literally our civilization. It's a broader thing. And that's why
like a real ancient Greek, mate.
But that's what I'm talking about, though, right? Like, I believe in Western civilization, and there are people like Tucker Carlson who got so blackpilled and they got so doomer-pilled by like COVID and like Western governments being shitty that he's like, okay, I'm gonna go support Russia. And it's like, dude, you can dislike Western governments without betraying your literal civilization for people who want to destroy you.
Do you know what Tucker Carlson's thing is, and a lot of people believe, by the way, and this is probably something you should take away and try and marinate over. It's because of NGOs like the WF and the connections to Zelensky, the WF. This is where the conspiracy, like curiosity and like Warrensome. Like people are worried about things like that, and they hear these things like, you own nothing and be happy. Like that Russell Brand kind of stuff.
Dude, but here's the thing though, right? Like I hate the WEF, you own nothing and be happy shit. I hate that just as much as you guys, but I still support Ukraine. And really, I don't see any contradiction there because my thinking is right. Like, listen, I think Western governments at the moment are pretty shitty, but I support Western civilization. I support my civilization. You make a distinguishment. You distinguish between the government and your culture and your country, right? And I hate the government of Britain, but I love Britain. I don't really like the government of America, but I love America. It's our culture, it's our civilization. And Ukrainians are Westerners who want to have freedom. They don't want to be under the boot of the Russians, and they don't want to live under a dictatorship. They're fighting to try and become more like us. They want to have freedom. And you look at what China fully supports Russia. So I honestly think like that's what I would try to say to people on the right who've gone down that line of thinking like, I understand it's easy to dislike our governments, but dude, like you should draw a distinction between our civilization as a whole and our governments. Just because Keir Starmer and Albanese say that they support Ukraine doesn't mean that we should throw them to the wolves and support Russia fucking massacring them and China supporting Russia massacring them. That's how I see it. And like the reality as well, the sad reality is that Western governments have kind of fucked over Ukraine as well because they haven't given them enough support to actually fight back Russia. And every step along the way, they've always just been too weak. And so the actual...
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because of nuclear? They're worried about nuclear war?
Part of it is nuclear, and the other part as well is like they just... I think it's just Western governments are weak. Like it's the same, dude. It's the same. Okay, this is a good example, right? We all know that the British government could easily stop the small illegal dinghies going into Britain, right? The boats across the channel. They could easily stop it, but they don't do it because they're weak. And it's the same thing. Like they have to if all of Europe and America banded together, they could stop Russia tomorrow. But it's just weakness. Like I think. One of the few things, like I understand, obviously Israel's very unpopular right now, but one of the few things I think that at least everyone should be able to admire, I think, at least in conservative circles, is at least Israel, they're willing to fight for their own existence, right? In the West, people don't have children anymore. People are so self-hating. People don't even like the idea of Western culture and civilization. They hate their own culture. How many young people would want to fight for our civilization in our country? So I think this is the sad thing. I think there's just too much self-hatred in the West right now, and there's so much weakness, and nobody's willing to actually use government to have solutions, right? This is why I like Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, because Lee Kuan Yew, like he just goes, okay, like if you go and try to stab somebody, we're just going to shoot you. we're going to have the death penalty, and newspapers will. Western newspapers will say that's bad, and we're still going to put.
Yeah, he pulled Singapore out of a swamp and made a cosmopolitan, like a proper city.
They made it a metropolis, and the whole time there were Westerners who were saying, "How dare you guys have the death penalty for smuggling in heroin?" And he's like, "I don't give a fuck. We're going to just death penalty heroin smugglers." and it works. And you can do that. You can actually do that. If you have strength, you can actually do that. But
there's two conversations we have. We need to go. I want to go deeper one day with you with the Ukraine-Russia thing because there's a lot more to cover. And also, right now, my position with this whole Palestine-Israel thing is I don't really have a side. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't like any of it, to be honest. I'm kind of in this, like, I don't really care about any of it.
I get you.
Really.
Look, my thing is,
like, I care. Like, I care. Like, I watch these videos of kids getting blown up, and I watch. I've seen about the October 7th stuff. Like, I care as a human, morally speaking. But objectively, I don't really know who, like, there's no side to pick, really. That's kind of where I'm at now.
I think it's the same thing with when it comes to Israel. Like, I think you have to sometimes just draw a distinction between the country as a whole and the government. I think Netanyahu, at this point, I don't think there's a reason for them to still be fighting in Gaza. I think they should get a hostage deal and end the war there. I think it's gone too far. But at the end of the day, I do think that, like, Hamas is like an Islamic extremist organization. All these leftists who hate the West support them, and I have to be against Hamas and all these leftists who hate Western civilization because they want to kill us all at the end of the day. That's how I see it.
What do you say to people who say that, like, Hamas is an Israeli-funded operation to, like, create greater Israel and all that kind of thing?
No, it's not that. The kernel of truth. This is the thing with all conspiracy theories. There's always a kernel of truth. The one kernel of truth there is that in the 10 years leading up to October 7, the Israeli government didn't properly take. The Israeli government, especially Netanyahu, didn't properly take Hamas seriously. So what happened was they had this idea where they thought that they had pacified them. They thought that there was actually a book. I read a book called Hamas Contained, and it was published in like 2019. And the whole idea was that Hamas had been contained. They completely thought that Hamas had been pacified. And the idea was Netanyahu basically had this thing where Qatar and Turkey were telling Netanyahu and Israel, listen, we're going to pour all this money into Gaza, and that's going to keep Hamas from wanting to attack Israel because they've got the aid coming in. Gaza is developing. There's no reason for them to attack.
So and that was the Centrelink. They tried the Centrelink method.
It's kind of like that, a little bit. Like they genuinely convinced themselves. They convinced themselves. They thought that by letting Qatar fund Hamas and fund Gaza, that they would basically buy Hamas.
Sounds so naive, though. Like, surely a country as intelligent as the IDF is supposed to be the most intelligent force in the world, right?
There was an element of cynicism. What happened? It was a two-pronged thing. One, they thought that Hamas was too weak to actually do October 7. They actually underestimated them. They thought that they weren't powerful enough to do it. And then the second thing was they wanted to keep Hamas as like a boogeyman. At that point in time, Netanyahu wanted to keep Hamas as like a boogeyman. So he wanted Hamas to be in control of Gaza. Like the timeline is this, right? Hamas seized control of Gaza in a coup in 2007. And then after that point, it became convenient for Netanyahu to be like, listen, the reason why we can't do a two-state solution is because Hamas is in the West, is in Gaza, and Hamas want to destroy the Israeli state. And they didn't take it seriously enough. They didn't truly believe that Hamas could do it, but they could point to Hamas and be like, see, these guys are evil and terrorist radicals. They can't actually they thought that they couldn't actually do October 7, but they could point to them and be like, see, this is why we can't make peace. So it was like this very complex thing where it was like a big game of chicken where basically they made a calculation where Netanyahu made this disastrous miscalculation where he basically was like, Hamas should stay around as a weak entity that we can point to and be like, this is why we can't make peace. And we don't think that they're capable of doing October 7. So we're going to allow Qatar and Turkey to fund Gaza. That will keep them quiet. That will stop Hamas from actually attacking us. Yes, we know that they want to kill us. Yes, we know that they say that they're radical, but maybe that's just for their own domestic propaganda. We can just tolerate at a low level their existence there and them saying psycho shit about us because we don't really believe that they can do it. And we're going to allow Qatar and Turkey to put the money in, and that will buy their silence. That was basically this big game of chicken, and it was a huge disaster, a massive disaster, world historic catastrophe. Essentially, what happened is they never took seriously Hamas at their word. Hamas was saying over the whole time, they were saying we're going to destroy Israel, and then Netanyahu was like, oh yeah, that's what they all like.
Let's just say that's true, right? Everything you said is true. When I play the game here, okay. If that's true, like if I was like the leader of Israel, right?
Yeah.
If my IDF failed me if the Australian army failed that badly, like if Indonesia was saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to come invade Australia, we're going to come invade Australia," and
Yeah.
Australia's like, "Ha ha ha ha, no, you're not, no, you're not," and then one day
Yeah.
Indonesia came and just killed everyone in Darwin,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If I was the leader of Australia, I would fire and resign all generals.
Well, this is the thing.
Of
A lot of
Charlie's army,
dude, a lot of
and
the
as
top
Australian
security.
Prime Minister, I would
Yeah.
resign, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Such an incompetent.
Dude, that's exactly it. So you're actually right, and a lot of people in Israel did call for him to resign immediately. He won't do it because
I can't believe
he's so power obsessed. The thing is, there actually were a lot of the top security officials in Israel did actually resign because they actually had some sense of historical responsibility. Netanyahu won't resign. Netanyahu's facing
that's bitch, dude. That's bitch.
Yeah, it is.
If he failed that badly, that's disgusting. Honestly,
it is. It's a two-pronged thing. He faces a trial in Israel over corruption. And for as long as the war goes on, they can't hold that trial. So he keeps it going because he doesn't want the trial to go on.
What a piece of shit, dude. That's
he's a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit. So he keeps the war going because he doesn't want the trial to start. And then the other thing is,
so he's like the Dan Andrews of Israel.
Yeah, it actually is a little bit. It's a two-pronged thing. One part of it is I'm sure there is a part to it where he's like, I was the one who. I'm sure there's a part of it where it's like, he knows that he was the one who was in charge on October 7, and so he wants to at least see it to the end so that he doesn't go down in the history of the Jewish people of 2,000 years as the guy who let October 7 happen.
So what's his plan? I'm going to become the most hated man in the world. That's how I'm going to redeem myself.
I think he thinks... So there's two... You understand, obviously, human psychology is so complex. It's operating on two levels. This is my read of Netanyahu. It's operating on two levels. The most cynical part of him is keeping the war going because he knows that if the war stops, he will be kicked out as prime minister when the war stops because there's no excuse that the wars keep going. And then he will be tried for corruption in Israel. And he can't go to any other country because he's now a wanted war criminal. So he has to basically keep it going forever because he's scared of losing his own power. That's the most cynical thing. There is another part to him where it's not just cynicism, where I think he genuinely believes that he has a responsibility to try and see the war to its conclusion and have a success so that he can save his legacy in the history books. And it's a very complex picture because against Hezbollah in Lebanon and against Iran, they actually fought like historically successful wars. It's actually crazy. Like, remember the pager thing that they did to the Hezbollah? Like, that will go down as one of the greatest military operations in human history. Legitimately, I'm not even kidding. Like, that was just masterful. And even the recent battle with Iran, like, they are 2,000 kilometers away from Iran, and they had air superiority over the capital of Tehran from like within the first hours of the conflict for like a full week. And they're thousands of kilometers away. Like what they did against Iran, the Iranian regime, and against Hezbollah was actually so masterful. It's extraordinary. But in Gaza, what has happened is they can't. The IDF seems to be really good when they fought when the IDF fights these short, sharp wars. They're really effective. They're amazing at what they do. But when they fight these long, drawn-out wars of attrition where they're bogged down in a counterinsurgency and stuff like that, it just becomes a disaster. It's like America in Iraq. It's like America in Afghanistan. That's what I think Gaza has become.
Why doesn't Israel just send their best troops on the ground to fight?
They've tried that. They've been doing that. They've been doing that for 2 years.
The problem is that the optical problem is like
I've been watching
I've been watching the doctors like who go to volunteer, right?
Yeah,
and they're telling the stories. It's fucked, dude. It's cooked.
Like, it's fucked.
How is that a winning formula?
It's really hard. Look, it's very difficult to say. One of the hardest parts about all this is that the information environment is fully fucked. So I'll give you an example, right? Do you remember when there was that World Central Kitchen van and an Australian volunteer was with them and they got blown up by the IDF and an Australian was killed? Yeah. So, and obviously that was so terrible that the IDF did that. They apologized. They said it was a massive fuck up. It was horrible. Yesterday, the World Central Kitchen, the same organization that was accidentally targeted by the IDF like a year and a half ago, they put out a statement yesterday saying, we are not affiliated with this particular car. What happened was the IDF proved that there was a car of 5 Hamas guys and they put a World Central Kitchen logo on the top and they were wearing the yellow vest to pretend that they were aid workers. And they actually were able to, the IDF actually worked with the World Central Kitchen, were like, is this your car? And they were like, no, we don't know who this car is. And they were actually able to work out like Hamas were literally putting like fake aid decals on the top of their car to try and, so this is part of the problem, dude. Like, there are constant false flags, there are constant, like, Like Hamas fights
it's guerrilla warfare.
It's guerrilla warfare, and Hamas fight an exceptional media game. Like Hamas are bad at. I think when it comes to actual ground fighting, Hamas are pretty shit. It seems, but information-wise, they are incredibly successful. And part of that is because China, Russian, Qatari, and Iranian bot farms massively amplify them as a way to make people hate the West.
Yeah, but I've been talking to pretty powerful Islamic leaders. I won't say their names, right? And their final statement is basically, at the end of the day, the Palestinian or like the Arab world will never give up, because this is like they have nothing to lose now. Like this is like their Viking Valhalla moment. Like they'll never give up fighting. They'll never give up.
The problem is they've been saying that for 75 years, 80 years. It's been like that since 1940. It's been like that since Israel. This is the problem, right? It's been like that since Israel was first started as a state. And it's the problem is, if you keep that mentality going on forever, it will literally be another couple hundred years of warfare. And it's such a disaster. And it's not being successful for anybody. And honestly, the only path forward is a two-state solution. And I hope that's what happened. There was a recent statement by the Arab League where every single Arab country basically said Hamas should step down in Gaza and let the Palestinian Authority for the West Bank come into Gaza and administer Gaza. I actually hope that is what happens. That's what the Australian government says they support. I actually hope that's what happens. The problem is Hamas is not surrendering.
Okay, I get that, but do you let's just macro out for an example, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think that I'm sorry to go over time, but this is I want to finish.
No, it's okay. It's interesting. Yeah, it is interesting.
I honestly think right now, what's happening is we are still living in an ancient Greek versus Persia world. The war that happened 2,000 years ago hasn't stopped, and right now, who is ancient Greece? Ancient Greece is the embodiment of Western culture. It is the US. It is Britain. It is Australia. It is Canada. This is what El Greco. This is the Hellenic world, essentially, in a kind of archetypal way. And what is the Persian world? It's the Arab world. It's just basically the Arab Middle Eastern world.
Look, there are a lot of distinctions between the Persians and the Arabs. I have to say, like they're at war with each other. But yeah,
they are, but so are the Greeks, right? The Greeks are at war with city-states. It's the same thing, right?
True.
We're all at war with each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my point being is, it took Philip II to unite all of ancient Greece, to go to war with Persia. It took someone like Alexander the Great, 16 years old, to be with 250,000 person army to go and conquer 95% of the known world, right? Essentially, what I'm saying is the Hellenic world is winning this overall Western war against the East, let's just say. But the East will never want to surrender to.
Well, that's what they say. That's what they say. The Palestinian side, they constantly invoke the image of Saladin. You know, like the the general who captured Jerusalem during the Crusades. So they constantly bring up Saladin, and I believe Yahya Sinwar, the guy who did October 7, he compared himself to Saladin. So like that's the very powerful imagery. Look, at the end of the day, I genuinely think the only way that there can ever be peace is both sides recognize that no one's going anywhere, just recognize each other's existence. I hope that can happen. I don't want it to be constant warfare forever. One thing that I really dislike, I'm very repulsed by, is this kind of like the jihadist mentality where they just basically have this kind of like, it's like this obsession. It's like decades-long holy war against Israel, and it doesn't matter how many people die. Like, I think that's sick. You know, this is another thing about Hamas, right? And this is you don't see this in the Western coverage of the conflict. Like, it was just a couple of days after October 7, one of the top Hamas leaders, I think it was Haniyeh, he went on television and he said, "We need the blood of the children, the grandmothers, the mothers to awaken the Palestinian people to fight Israel." He literally said this on television. He said, "We need the blood of the children." Like,
blood magic.
But that is such a sick way of saying, like they actually were straight up saying, like, we want civilian deaths. We want people to be killed.
Yeah, they sound like the Bolsheviks in that point.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the problem, right? Like, to what extent can you actually make peace with people like Hamas like that? Like, these people.
That's the problem. You've got Hassan Pikers. You got the Hassan Pikers out there going around saying that it was Israel that initiated the Hannibal Directive to kill their own.
That's mental.
October 7th. That's what he says, dude. That's what he tells.
I know that is what they say. That is what they say. But the thing is, like, I watched like the footage from October 7. Like, the Hamas fighters literally filmed themselves on GoPros. You could watch them. I watched all this footage. They went house by house in these kibbutzim, and they literally were shooting like pet dogs. They were shooting people. They literally went house by house and executed people. I watched this on October 7th. You can go type in thisishamas.com. You can watch all the footage from October 7th. It's really graphic. It's really fucked up. Like obviously like content warning there, because you can see like there are photographs of like women who were raped on October 7th and stuff like that on that website.
Who runs this website?
It's obviously Israel. It's obviously Israel. But the photos are real.
Because they own Wix as well, so they'll be able to watch it. This is that? Can you? Obviously we won't watch it now, but if you can send it to me because I can't find it on Google.
Yeah, I'll send it. Oh, actually, yeah, it is down. Actually, hang on. This is Hamas. Let me see if there's another Google's.
Prohibited status: client transfer prohibited.
Oh, I wonder if they.
Updated 6 days ago.
Oh, really? Because that was That was a website that basically had all the October 7 photos and footage.
It looks like it's down.
No, I don't know. Well, I'll try find I'm sure there's a host one or something like that. But like,
all right,
you could on that website though, like you can see just the piles of bodies, and it's just like
I haven't actually had.
Yeah.
All I see is what I see on Twitter, and most of it's just the stuff you see in Gaza. So I actually haven't got to see the other side. But
I'll try.
Anyways,
brother,
I appreciate the chat, by the way.
Thank you. That was an amazing, dude. That was a great stream. It's 3 hours. I'm surprised it went so long. It was a great chat.
Yeah. How long do you normally stream for?
Normally I stream for like 2 hours. I got to get to the point where I do longer. It's just it's sometimes it's a bit doom appealing when I don't have a big audience watching. But like when it's a big audience, you can go for longer.
Let me just give you some tips before I let you go.
Yeah, please.
I've been streaming for many years now. There'll be moments in your streaming marathon. You have to think of this as a marathon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
When I was streaming, my most popular was I had 2,500 viewers watching me playing Hogwarts Legacy. Right, that was right before I worked in Parliament, and that was my biggest moment. I had to give that up to go work in Parliament.
Right, wow.
There'll be days where you only have one viewer. There'll be days when you have 10. There'll be days when you have 15, 20, 30. But it's the same. Streaming and YouTube are like together. You have to just keep going. But the most important thing is the Reels, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah,
your stream will not, and obviously your X channel. Also mentality. I'll just tell you something. I recently went on a massive streaming run, like this last 3 weeks. I was doing 10-hour streams every day for 2 weeks straight.
Holy shit!
It fucked me.
Yeah,
I got 150 new subs though, so cha-ching. But I haven't recovered. This is my first stream in a week.
Yeah. I think that's what happened to me, man. Because I was doing a thing where I was trying to do every single day for 100 days, and I got to like 80, and then I kind of burned out a bit. In the past 3 weeks, I've only done a couple. Just
to give you an example, just to give you some kind of perspective, Asmongold has been doing 8-hour streams every day, essentially. Probably I'll say 99% of the days for 10 years straight.
That's fucked. I don't see. That's the thing. I don't know if I even want to do 8-hour streams every day for 10 years. That's the thing. Even if I was getting millions, I don't know.
Perfect. That's the next thing. You're gonna ask yourself that question every day when you start doing longer streams. And my best advice to you is, I think what's happening now with the streamers like Tectone and stuff, they're promoting 4 to 5 hour streams. I think where you want to step into is a space of 4 to 5 hours. 4 hours, ideal. If you can manage 4 hours a day, that's how you become a Hassan or Asmongold style.
I think 4 is an acceptable sort of thing, because 8's fucked. 8's fucked.
8 hours for 10 years straight, but he is now the biggest political commentator in the world.
Yeah, fuck. That's crazy. I think he's seen I think he once put my tweet on one of his streams.
Good. If you get on his show, honestly, if you can get him to react to one of your videos, do it.
I'll look into it.
He gets a lot of hate. But he's the big dog. He's the Joe Rogan of streaming right now. So
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Whatever.
Dude, thank you though. That was an amazing chat. And I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Thomas. Thank you to Jimmy Jane. Thank you to Musaka. Thank you everyone who was watching. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you to Vietran. Thank you, man. Thanks, bro. We'll do another one soon. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, legend.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Take care.
Damn, I'm quite tired now, guys. It's 1 a.m. here in Australia. I'm gonna head. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That was pretty interesting. It was a good chat. I'll keep trying to do streaming again. I'll keep trying to get more into it. I'll get back into the grind. Thank you, guys. God bless. Stay humble, everyone. Remember, the fortress of righteousness is rising. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it, bro. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Cheers.